begins with two fast risers at welterweight who didn't want to wait for tonight. Michael Lombardo called out Levon Chokoli months ago, and it spilled over into this yesterday. Two very different fighters from two very different parts of the world who played two very different kinds of football until they both ended up walking the exact same path, a path that tonight leads them to each other.
And now, set to make his way to the cage, Michael Lombardo.
There is certainly some history when it comes to football players making the transition to MMA. Matt Mitrione, Brennan Schaub, Brock Lesnar, depending on how far you want to stretch the metaphor. But Michael Lombardo was making it in his head while he was still playing at Arkansas State. And last time out, he made the transition from a name John to a name to know by knocking out the veteran Mark Lemminger.
And what a knockout it was, too. Lombardo is just good everywhere. Just not that flashy guy, but take a look at this left hook. Boom! That was basically the end. That's all it really took. Michael Lombardo has got good wrestling, outstanding ground game, very slick stand-up, and he's got power.
And now we welcome his opponent to the cage, Levon Chokoli.
Now in Georgia, they win national championships in football, but Levon Chokoli didn't grow up in that Georgia. The Republic of Georgia, they play the other football. But he does have one thing in common with Michael Lombardo, the Don's teammate, Roman Peraldo, because that's where Levon Chokoli's rise continued and where a beef was born.
Man, I'll tell you, look, Levon Chokoli came into Bellator, he was a knockout artist, and he went up against a wrestler that was able to take him down, but his ground game has gotten so much better. And against Peraldo, it was that who's going to be the better striker? Well, it ended up being Levon Chokoli, and he ended up being Chokoli being able to take Peraldo down when he wanted and put him on the mat, beat him up. It was a great win for Chokoli, and we're going to see if he can do the same thing with his teammate Mike Lombardo tonight.
We check out the tail of the tape in the opener.
You can take a look at everything, and the one thing, if you're going to pick it out on Levon Chokoli, is how young he still is. He's got so much in the future. This is now the moment at 32 years of age for Michael Lombardo to put himself into that welterweight position to look for a title fight.
A night we fight for our heroes, a night that ends with the flyweight world title at stake, begins as always with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Honolulu, Hawaii, as we get set now for Bellator MMA live on Showtime. Tonight, here at Bellator's Fight for Our Heroes, we'd like to first extend a special welcome to the brave men and women serving around the world and joining us tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network. And now, from Blaisdell Arena, we get the action underway with 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing the blue corner first. At 6 foot, weighing in 170.8 pounds, his professional record, 13 wins, 2 losses, fighting out of the Jupiter, Florida, presenting Michael Lombardo. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 169.6 pounds, as a professional, 11 victories, 2 defeats. From Tbilisi, Georgia, introducing Levon Chokoli. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge, Jason Herzog.
30 years ago, Jason Herzog didn't have anything to go by, but somebody, John, decided we ought to write some rules down.
Someone did, and Bellator MMA follows the unified rules of MMA. It's the 10-point must scoring system. What that means is the winner will be awarded 10 points while their opponent will be awarded 9 points or less. That is based on effective striking and grappling, then followed by aggressiveness and cage control. Feature bouts are 3 5-minute rounds, and your championships, Grand Prix, and main events are 5 5-minute rounds.
First round, fight, you ready? Fight, you ready? Fight!
Both fighters on the outside of the top 10 at 170, and both would like to change that and could with an impressive victory here tonight.
This is a big-time fight for both of these individuals. Michael Lombardo is looking to make that move. Next step up in the welterweight division. Chokely said, no, I slipped. There was no knockdown. Boy, he just touched Lombardo with a nice shot.
Leg kick, setting up the combo. You pointed out how young Chokely, he doesn't look like a young fighter when you watch him. He looks so polished.
No, the one thing he really does, he's got power, man. He's got pop, and you can see already Lombardo has felt that power a little bit. He's keeping those hands up very high. He's respecting that power, and Chokely has speed also. And when you have speed and power, it's difficult to deal with. Lombardo's gonna have to figure out that range that's gonna work for him.
Chokely has said there's never been a major MMA champion from the Republic of Georgia. He wants to be the one to change that. He said in the United States, so many wrestlers have to develop the striking. With Chokely, obviously, like a lot of fighters coming from that part of the world, it's going the other way around.
Yeah, Chokely he's got wrestling, and the big thing that he needs to do is he needs to transition from one element to the next, and that's part of just learning. But at 26 years of age, Sean, it's so easy to sit there and say, oh, this is what he needs to do. You're expecting so much, and he is so good right now at this age.
Every time you and I sit together, we talk about evolution and how things change when you're not really noticing or paying attention. The stereotype to fall back on, American wrestling was always way ahead, right, in so many ways. But that gap, wow.
Big time. Uchimata throw by Levon Chokely.
Almost as we were saying. But that gap is closing.
Absolutely, it's closing. And it's because what we have now is we have kids that have started out in MMA watching guys like Hoist Gracie, Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, and all those guys. And they started out doing everything. They weren't just wrestlers. They weren't just jiu-jitsu stylists. They've done it all. So they transitioned incredibly well now. Nice job by Michael Lombardo. Continued on with that takedown. He got those hands together, and this is what he's showing you is, okay, I don't like the stand-up as far as you have some advantages. I'm going to put you where you have zero advantages. Beautiful mount position by Lombardo.
Pulled him away from the cage at the same time he went to mount, but he lost it.
He just stepped out of it.
Yeah, he did.
You know, obviously, he felt something that wasn't right for him, so he went right into the half guard. Nice clean elbow strike by Lombardo. Very smart. And the big thing is, don't lose this position.
And he does.
Which he does. Nice job by Lombardo. Look, use that elevator to get his hips high, get him light there. Now he's working back towards making another takedown attempt. We'll see if it happens. You see him giving no space.
Yeah, Chokely wanted the separation, couldn't get it. That's a little tight. Tough spot.
Be careful. Now it's off.
He knew that he did not have the right leverage or the angle.
And Lombardo, if you notice one of the things he's doing, look at all this pressure and all this aggressiveness, he's trying to wear Chokely down. He has seen that in prior fights, Chokely does slow down a little bit, and so he's stepping on the gas, pushing the pace of this fight. Very smart move.
He's giving Lombardo a lot to think about here.
Nice move by Lombardo, gets back to his feet, double unders now. Chokely's been using that overhook to get the throws that we've been seeing. You're gonna see him look to step across again.
Chokely shoots late in the round.
And you just saw how fast the shot was. He's got speed.
What's up? Blue, you're here.
Different kinds of takedowns.
Absolutely, Chokely Landing a couple of beautiful, look at this Uchimata right up through the legs, just beautifully done. See, that scores because you have Lombardo landing on his head, okay? And that is a beautiful takedown. That's what we call amplitude. Elevation with an impact on the ground, but Lombardo coming back, getting that, and then here comes a Haragosh by Chokely. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. Just gets the takedown with the trip, gets on top. Both guys going back and forth, using what is their strength in this fight. Very close round.
I don't want to lose that, what you said about scoring, because on the night we're about to see Danny Sabatello, that takedown did both damage and position.
Absolutely, and that's what you're looking for. There's all kinds of different takedowns, but when you see someone use that type of throw and you see the impact of Lombardo hitting the ground, you got to give it credit, you got to give it a score.
Ready? Ready? Fight.
Oh, nice uppercut by Chokely.
Let's see if Lombardo wants to change levels a little earlier in this round, having tasted the stand-up here.
And right away, you saw Lombardo coming out and pressing and putting pressure. And as soon as he got hit by that, you saw, well, let me exit out, let me get myself straight, and then come back at him. Nice check right hook.
Just been walking down. Easily the most misunderstood part of the sport is how much is happening right now.
Oh man, this is so grueling. And people look at this and think, oh, they're just holding on to each other. No,
nope.
There is so much back and forth and so much energy being expended to get certain positions, to dig the underhooks, to put the head in the right spot. See how Michael Lombardo just brought his head up to try to control where Chokely's at.
Hours and hours and hours of drilling. Just for fractions of inches of position.
It is, but this is exactly the fight that Michael Lombardo is implementing to try to put that pressure, that pace to wear Chokely down. And if you did notice, at the end, here he comes back with a Haragosh throw again, but he misses it. At the end of that first round, his mouth was open, he was breathing hard. Nice clean elbow inside by Michael Lombardo. Well thrown. Set that up beautifully.
Now grab the cage, let go. Turn your hand towards him.
Always Jason Herzog watching and warning him about it.
What he's looking at is anytime that your hand gets kind of caught between the cage and your opponent's back, your fingers automatically start to go through. So he's telling him, don't grab the cage. Even if his fingers went through it, he's not saying he's holding it, but I don't want you to grip down on it, because then you're starting to bring me into the fight. Lombardo's now starting to stop those. The judo throws that Chokely's been very successful with, especially in the first round. He's now starting to stop it in the gas. You can see Lombardo's just putting pressure. He's trying to punch holes in the gas tank of Levon Chokely.
Round for Lombardo to this point because he had closed the distance. Now they're back in distance. He's got problems.
At range, he's not as effective. He's been very good when they get into close quarter battle, but when it's at range, he's been the one that's receiving the heavier shots. Nice job of Lombardo to just stay with that. Yes, you're the one that's getting turned over, but as long as you stay with that hold, you're going to be able to hold position.
Much tougher round to gauge, going position versus damage.
So now you're starting to see Lombardo really, he's winning all of the grappling exchanges here. Chokely does something good, but Lombardo just reverses that position on him, stops what Chokely is looking to do. The throws aren't working the same.
Get your point, get your point. Let him stall him right there, get your point. Again. Let him stall him right there, get your point. Go. Come on, stall him, let's go. Go. Come on. Never, give him. 50 seconds. Yeah, point, level, point. Go. 10 seconds. Let's go.
There's got his hands clasped.
Well, Michael Lombardo's figured out, John, what he needs to do in this fight. Can he do it in round 3 is the question, because he has punched some holes in the gas tank.
It is, because this was that first right here, the shots that got through in the beginning of the round. But nothing really hurt Lombardo. That knee did graze, but the hand was up there to kind of block. You saw after that point, Lombardo really started to switch by crushing that space, making it a grappling exchange for the most part.
We need a fucking serious 5 minutes.
Inside the Bellator cage. Please put your hands together.
We talk about those who serve in the military. Well, there are also 1.6 million children whose parents serve. Bellator recognizing them too, as we will throughout the weekend. Officially starting the 3rd round is Leo.
Buddy, you ready? Fight!
It's been an amazing week here. You learn so much, and everything you think you know. It's so funny when they say, hey, we at Bellator are coming to provide this entertainment or whatever, and we're the ones that end up feeling better.
Oh, absolutely. When you're here and you're meeting these people, and they're so genuine in their excitement to see you and just to talk and things like that. It's awesome to be here.
We live in extremely cynical times. It's what makes it so valuable. Such a breath of fresh air to be around those who serve. Chokely was winning the stand-up easily, really laying in some big shots early in the fight. Does he have enough left after Lombardo really worked it along defense in round 2?
Boy, that was a nice right hand by Chokely, too. Landed the jab, right cross came. Lombardo's really got to take the distance away. Both guys right now are almost resorting to throwing ones. You're gonna have to open it up more. Hit those combinations, 1, 2, 3s. Try to get the 4s in there. Those are the ones that are gonna land and do damage.
You can see the 12 minutes has worn on both guys here, which is why the pace is much slower.
Yep.
You know what Lombardo needs to do, but he's been slow to do it. There's the combination you wanted.
When Levon's throwing, he's throwing with a lot of intensity. There's some heat on that. Lombardo's getting a little busted up.
Yeah, he needs a level change here. He needs this fight changed. The middle of the cage is not where he can have this. He just took a big leg kick. You can see he's favoring that front left leg.
He's halfway through this 3rd and final round, and right now he's behind.
He's made no attempt here to change the direction. You wait, you get tuned up for 3 minutes, and that's what a takedown looks like.
Chokely made a mistake there. He should have continued on stuff in the head. But now he's coming around. Nice job. He's just got to clear that leg. We'll see if he can do it. So when he allowed Lombardo to pull himself right into the top position, exactly where Lombardo wanted to be. That was a mistake by Chokely.
Taking Lombardo nearly 4 minutes of the round to get this position. Could he do enough damage?
Neither guy being able to do much damage here. Chokely needs to have a little bit more just the ability to get himself back up. He's got to go for it. He can't sit there and just be on the bottom. He's got to have some type of intensity in getting himself back to his feet, which he just did. Nice job. That right there is a big difference in the fight. That's when we're looking for that moment where you make the choice.
Yep.
Do I stay where I'm at, or do I get myself out of this and do something? That's the difference sometimes in you winning and losing.
Well, a really draining, physical 15-minute fight that will go the distance. And Levon Chokely dictates the start, and he dictates the finish.
It still won't stop.
It's like they're out in the playground. Be your own judge.
Here's Chokely with a nice leg kick. You see a lot of impact there. Starts to just make it difficult for Lombardo to use those takedowns that he was successful with, especially in the second round. Chokely, that jab, he had a speed advantage throughout, and that jab consistently found its mark.
Say hi to Georgia, my friend, my family. Say hi to my team in Georgia. Also, I want to say thank you, my team in German, Kassel, Team Phoenix. Also, my team in Virginia, BellatorMMA.
A long way from home. That was almost like an Academy Award speech. That was a lot of people to thank, but you can see the work that he has put in and the damage on the face of Michael Lombardo. Michael C. Williams will make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance inside, the Bellator cage will go to your three judges. Your first, Sal D'Amato, scores the fight 29-28, while judges Michael Bell and Kyle Takao both see it exactly the same, 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Levon Chokely.
An impressive performance, particularly in rounds 1 and 3, particularly on his feet. Levon Chokely at age 26, getting better and better. He goes to 12-2. He makes his case to go into the top 10 at 170 as we go to Amanda Guerrero.
Sean, we appreciate it. Tonight is just the beginning of a stacked 3 months here for Bellator. Maybe one of the best cards you will ever see in Bellator history. Starting tomorrow, we have 4 title fights in the next 3 months. 1 fighter going for history.
Tomorrow night, our back-to-back Bellator Bonanza from Honolulu continues. It's the conclusion of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix featuring interim champion Rafion Stotts against number 2 ranked Patchy Mix in the tournament final. They'll battle for $1 million. And it's a Hawaiian homecoming for Alima Leigh McFarland when the former world champion takes on Kana Watanabe in a flyweight matchup. And on May 12th, Bellator returns to the City of Light when former world champion and top-ranked Gegard Mousasi fights number 2 Fabian Edwards in a middleweight clash. Plus, former champion Brent Primus draws France's own Mansour Barnaoui in a lightweight World Grand Prix quarterfinal matchup. The heat gets turned up even more Friday, June 16th from the Wintrust Arena in Chicago with 2 title clashes in one night. In the main event, light heavyweight world champion Vadim Nemkov defends his belt against the soldier of God, Yoel Romero. Plus, Bellator's pound-for-pound best and featherweight kingpin Patricio Pitbull looks to make history by becoming the only man to capture a belt in 3 different weight classes as he takes on Bantamweight world champion Sergio Pettis. Bellator MMA, where warriors rule.
So I gotta say, Sergio and Pitbull, that is just circled on my count. I am counting down the days to Chicago. I cannot get here fast enough. But let's talk about the main event we have coming up tomorrow night. The finale of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. Rafion Stotts going up against Patchy Mix. Josh, give me your hand. These are the 2 guys you saw in the finale. I have to give them credit where credit's due. Why did you see these 2 guys getting to this point, and how explosive will tomorrow be?
Well, Rafion Stotts is such a spectacular wrestler, but he's a very good striker. He's very elusive on the feet. He's got great movement. He's super dynamic, and he likes to talk the trash and back it up. Patchy Mix, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more humble, but the body length of him and the design of his body, the way he gets in the cage, he's really tall, long, and lanky, as I like to say on our Weighing In podcast, but he utilizes that in his grappling. His grappling, I think, right now, in the sport of MMA, is probably the best in the world, definitely at 135.
It is such a special night here inside the Blaisdell Center. It has been a special week for you. Bellator MMA, Fight for Our Heroes, travels annually to the amazing state of Hawaii, home to more than 90,000 soldiers, family, veterans, civilian employees. That makes up 10% of the population of this entire state. And earlier this week, Big John, Josh, and MMA royalty Royce Gracie, in partnership with USO, went to meet the hero.
Everyone from Bellator MMA, Hawaii, the troops, we want to thank you guys. We love you guys.
Couldn't see yesterday. You got the glasses on. You don't have. Where are your glasses? Can you even read what's happening? Huh? Exactly. Look, you've done these base visits so many times before. You've done tactical challenges. You've taught them techniques like grappling and different things like that. This week was a little bit more emotional. Why?
Yeah, it hit a little bit different because this week, for some reason, they brought a lot of their kids. And their kids are involved in martial arts. A lot of them are training in a lot of the local Gracie gyms here on the island. And it was just nice to actually get a chance to meet their families. Normally we meet the troops, we train with them, we roll with them, we show them techniques, all of those things. This was different. It just hit a little bit differently. It was nice to see them with their families, nice to see their kids interacting and having fun, and also bringing their belts, and we're signing them and we're taking pictures. And the kids are so energetic, and it's a blessing, man. It really was.
Well, they're very lucky to meet you as well and have that time there. That is their why, and we are honoring those members of the military and first responders tonight. All right, let's continue with our card here. It is time for one of the most talked about fighters in Bellator, who does the most trash talking, Danny Sabatello, going up against Marcus Breno. Okay, we know Sabatello. Marcus Breno said, I'm nice. I'm the nice guy here. And he's going for Sabatello's glasses. He made the first shot.
I don't know if that's a wise move or not, but when you talked to Danny Sabatello yesterday, he's like, hey, you don't touch my glasses. You leave my glasses alone. And, you know, he put a thumb smudge mark on my glasses. You don't do that. He's like, he's going to pay for it tonight in the cage.
He very well might. So let's talk about Danny Sabatello. Look, it's a little bit of a rough day for him, a rough night, I should say. So his last fight was against Rafion Stotts to punch their ticket to the finale of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. He lost. Rafion's fighting tomorrow for $1 million. He thought he won that fight. How is his coach, and you see them there, Mike Brown, you talk to Mike Brown, how does he keep Danny focused for tonight?
Well, he's got to tell Danny Sabatello to put it all behind him. You can't think about that last fight. You've got to move on. And Danny's very aware of that. We had that conversation with him. I said, hey, how do you stay focused? He's like, look, I know what my game plan is. And that is how he stays focused. He understands, I'm going to wrestle you. I'm going to use my cardio as a weapon. And I'm going to go out there and grind on you, push you to the brink and the limits. And when I get you down, I'm going to do work. He understood he made a mistake in the fight with Rafion Stotts. He got the takedowns, but he didn't do enough damage from the top, and that's really ultimately what cost him the fight. In this fight, he's gonna get the takedowns. He has also said, I'm gonna open up now when I get to that top position and really show the judges that I'm here to finish these fights.
Look, every fight you learn something that Danny thought he learned. You're looking at these highlights. He had this platinum hair, right? The last several fights, he's had this platinum hair. When you see him tonight, you saw him in the locker room a second ago, his hair is back darker. You know, not much, but I asked him why. He goes, look, in that fight with Rafion Stotts, he got some blood in his hair, and it ended up being pink. And he thought maybe the judges were looking at that. It was optics. He wants to go back to brown hair just in case something like that happens again. Is that, I mean, do you agree with that?
As a fighter, I do agree with that. But my partner down there, Big John McCarthy, will tell you something different. It's just not, he'll sit there and tell you that the judges are not skewed by blood and cuts. And I said, really? Really? So human beings just don't make judgment calls like that? He's like, no, we're trained not to. I said, come on, John, you gotta be real with me, buddy. But no, honestly, I feel like it does skew the judging when the hair is blonde and you see the blood and the pink and all of those things together. So, but Big John says it doesn't. I talked to some of the judges and they said, no, we don't look at that. We have to see the strike land, we have to see the cut and the damage being applied.
Either way, doesn't want to take a chance with Danny Sabatello's hair back to brown for a reason tonight. Let's talk about Marcus Breno here, his second fight with Bellator. In his debut, made a huge statement with a win over Josh Hill. Where is he dangerous against a guy like Danny Sabatello?
He's dangerous everywhere. He is nasty. He's very good on the feet. And when he fought Josh Hill, I mean, you could see the way he put the combinations together. But what I want to remind people of is Danny Sabatello, his very first loss of his career, he lost to a body shot. And Breno goes really well to the body right there, as you saw. Nicely done. Touch the body, comes back up top to the head. But even though he's got great boxing, he is phenomenal on the ground. And he's got great wrestling, as you just saw. He's slick on letting the hands go, setting up his takedowns with his hands, and then when he gets to the top, he does work.
And even though he said he's a nice guy, we know he is chippy. Sean, this is going to be fun. Let's send it back down to you.
There is no question, Amanda. My favorite part of the last segment was Amanda said, Josh Thompson and MMA royalty. Danny Sabatello thought he was going to be in the main event tomorrow. A fight he has said against Rafion Stotts he's gone over in his head 1,000 times. But tonight, for the first time really in Bellator, he is the hunter.
And now, to make his way to the cage, Marcus Breno.
Marcos Breno, as you just saw, made a splash in his Bellator debut. There is no doubt about that. But when he was a kid in school back in Brazil, they always went around the room asking the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Marcos always made something up because he thought the other kids would laugh at him. He said, I want to be a fighter when I grow up. John, no one's laughing now.
I'm not laughing because I'll tell you what, when I watched Breno in his first fight, I was so impressed because Josh Hill is a veteran fighter, so good everywhere, and he systematically just dismantled him. The body shots, his up and down attack, it was fantastic, and it tells you how well trained he is and how versatile he is in that cage.
And now to make his way, the Italian gangster, Danny Sabatello.
There's an old Chris Christopherson song, which I guess is redundant if you think about it, called The Pilgrim. He's a walking contradiction, partly fact and partly fiction. And what makes Danny Sabatello so fascinating is that his bark and his bite, both very loud, don't match. His vocabulary may be four-lettered, but can he be a three-dimensional fighter? That's the question. Multiple-time NCAA championship qualifier, Big Ten Wrestler of the Week, multiple times at Purdue. John, I'll say it. It doesn't feel like he's truly over the loss to Rafion Stotts.
Oh, he's not. He's holding on to that. And the thing about him is this. There are guys that come out of wrestling that do well in MMA. This guy, his wrestling is so good in the cage. This guy shoots from a distance that is just not seen very often. He is fast, and he has a gas tank that is limitless. He does not get tired. Danny Sabatello is a special talent, but he does need to utilize that wrestling and do damage when he's in those top positions.
We check out tail of the tape, not seen here, hair color.
The big thing here, you can see that Sabatello's got a little bit of a reach advantage, 2.5 inches, but he's the guy that's gonna wanna get this thing where they're up close and personal with wrestling. Breno's the one that's gonna have to get through that with the 67-inch reach.
Live on Showtime, Bellator 294 continues now as we turn to the Bantamweight division, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce first the blue corner. At 5'7", weighing in 136 pounds even, his professional record, 15 wins, just 2 losses, from Rio Preto da Eva, Amazonas, Brazil, presenting Marcos Breno. And across the cage is adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 135.6 pounds, the Bantamweight Grand Prix semi-finalist, ranked now at number 5, stands with 13 professional victories, just 2 defeats. From Chicago, Illinois, he fights out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, presenting Danny, the Italian gangster, Sabatello. In charge, Kerry Hatley.
As we continue to honor our heroes who served on the front lines to ensure our safety, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Jose Diaz. We could not do the show without his son Marco, but tonight we talk about his father Jose, a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. Jose, we at Bellator recognize you are a true warrior. We continue to thank you and your comrades and colleagues for your service. Such a cool night.
Absolutely.
Cool to see Danny Sabatello, man. He's been waiting for Michael C. to introduce him. He's been practicing that in the mirror, you can tell.
He's saying his own name.
If you were to pick anybody on this card that says his own name, you would probably start.
You would start with Danny Sabatello.
He's just a fascinating fighter. And he takes a good shot from Breno and immediately shoots. This is what we talked about.
This is a big moment right now for Breno. Breno needs to be able to fight this off, which he just did, which was very nicely done. But because he hurt Sabatello with that punch.
Breno was a huge underdog in this fight, but I don't know if he should be. Josh Hill is a good veteran fighter, and Marcos Breno tuned him up.
Oh, absolutely. And look, Josh Hill's got really good wrestling. It's not as good as Sabatello's work, so we're going to see exactly where Breno's at, because this is the one thing that Breno's going to have to do, because Sabatello is not going to stop that. He's not going to get frustrated that he didn't get the takedown. He's going to continue to go after him with those takedowns until he gets it.
Now, if you're not familiar with the story of the Sabatello-Stotts fight, obviously Danny Sabatello thought he won easily because he was in a dominant position for much of the fight. But as I was taught for the very first time I did this gig by Mr. John McCarthy, you have to score points. You don't go to the Super Bowl on time of possession.
There you go. Doesn't matter if you're sitting in the top position. If you're not doing damage, you're not winning. Great job by Breno, though. He's fighting off every one of these right now. Nice job. Now that Sabatello's got his hands clasped, that's a difference. Beautiful work. That's going to work. Breno to bring himself over the top. Very nicely done by Breno. Super impressive when you realize how good Sabatello's wrestling is. What Breno is doing is just absolutely impressive.
Sabatello's been torn all week about what he's going to do tomorrow. Good exchange. You see some damage already over the right eye of Breno, and now it's Breno with a level change.
Breno taking Sabatello down. He just needs to keep turning that corner. Now you see that pressure on that shoulder. He's got that right arm of his, left arm pressed down inside. You see it where Breno's arm is on the pant or shorts of Sabatello. It's trapped there, and Sabatello is using that pressure on the shoulder to hold his position. We'll see if he can get the hooks here.
Sabatello was asked about the fight tomorrow night with Stotts and Patchy Mix, and he said, I'm torn, and I want Stotts to win so I can beat him for the belt, but I don't ever want to see that blank happen. That's might be the Danny Sabatello quote of all.
I'm surprised that he used.
He said, my story is not complete, says Danny Sabatello, until I fight Rafion Stotts again.
So he was talking about that great guy, Rafion Stotts, right?
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
what I thought.
Watch the head down.
Head to the wall. Head to the wall. Keep knees. Keep touching with the knees.
This is where, it's what I'm talking about with Sabatello. He does not give up just because he doesn't get a takedown. He continues to go after it. And Breno needs to really just continue to fight and continue to be aggressive. That's going to be the thing that will help him against Sabatello. The body shots, like Josh was talking about, back when he fought long ago, he lost in a 4th round TKO due to a body shot.
He's back in Titan FC in the title fight.
Breno's not in a good position right here.
Sabatello had the body lock in, and Breno was not really defending his neck.
And now he's working to try to get that arm. It might be a little too late. I can't see where it's at to see how good it is, if it's under the neck or not. Doesn't look like it.
Very promising start to this round for Marcos Breno.
Now it's looking good.
Yeah, it is.
He's got that arm behind. Breno just trying to relax here, but that is around the neck. We'll see if he can just fight it off. Gets that lock arm away. Nice job by Breno. And what we're seeing out of Sabatello right now is he learned something from the Stotts fight, because you're seeing him go after submissions and go after doing damage.
Heck with time of possession. I'm going to put it in the end zone.
Stop.
A lot of good stuff early in that round from Breno, but sort of the inevitability of Sabatello's wrestling late in the round.
Beautiful right hand right at the beginning of the round. That got Sabatello's attention, but that left hand just skimmed the face of Breno. This was the big moment right here. You saw Breno looking to get that takedown, and in the end, it was Sabatello who was able to come out on top, and that's what a good wrestler will do. He'll continue to scramble until he gets this. When you see this overhook, this wizard on his arm, he's able to then get the fight to the ground, and from that point, took the back. Went after some chokes, laid some strikes on him. Danny Sabatello definitely turning that round around.
As we told you, April is designated the month of the military child, so officially starting his 3rd round, Carson. So we continue to celebrate kids whose parents are serving in the military.
Let's go. Like the way Carson did that. You see that, man? It was like,
he was right on it. And by the way, you'll see if you get a look at Kerry Hatley, if he steps back into this shot, you'll see he's wearing a purple wristband on his right wrist. The referee's side purpled up, sporting the official color and sport bands of military children.
And the real question that we're going to have here is Breno did a really nice job throughout a lot of that 1st round. But we've seen that when he fought Josh Hill, he did get a little tired going into the 3rd round. Is the pace going to be something that starts to slow his action down? Nice jab by Breno.
Sabatello has 4-letter words for days, and he's got cardio for days.
I have never seen the guy get tired. He knows when to take a second just to grasp air and he continues to come back. He is in just remarkable condition, and he can carry a pace. But that was a beautiful right hand by Bennett right there. I don't care how good a shape you are, that will get your attention. That was another.
Carlo got his attention. That second left really got through. And again, Sabatello's in smart. Immediate level changes as soon as Breno scores.
And Breno made the mistake of allowing him to take the back.
Danny Sabatello had a word for Scott Coker. That's some serious high-level multitasking.
It's always good when you talk to the boss while fighting.
Nice step over. Doesn't have a lot of room to work here against the fence.
Sabatello putting a lot of pressure on Breno, making it difficult. This is where he is just outstanding in being able to control the position of where the fight is at. But he does need to, at this point, look towards doing some damage, look towards going for submissions. That's how you put that check mark to where they're going to give you those 10 points.
And the proof is in what you're watching, in that Danny Sabatello, Mike Brown, even now, they'll push back when you talk about the Stotts fight. But look at what we're seeing.
Exactly.
What the actions are saying that they heard the words they were told.
Mike Brown knew.
Of course he did.
And obviously, Danny's his fighter and stuff, but he's been telling him, hey, when you're in these positions, I need you to open up more. I need you to do this. And you're seeing it. You're seeing Danny listen to him. He took that information. He's applying it in the cage right now. Just an outstanding performance so far.
Think about it in the old days of basketball when there was no shot clock. You could hold the ball for 45 seconds, but did you score at the end of the possession?
And how many college teams did that?
Back in those days, speaking of trash talk, takes one to no one. Look at this. Breno rolling for it.
The knee bar on it right now.
What does Sabatello have to do from here?
Sabatello needs to use that foot he has on the butt, start to clear that knee from the hip junction. That's what he's done. Very nicely done by Danny Sabatello. You got to get that knee past the hip.
Look at him jump right for the neck. Right back to the offense.
But he doesn't have his one hand hooked up right, and that's why you see him. Breno is just trying to relax, be calm. Right back to the great minds by Danny Sabatello. That's a lot of pressure on the diaphragm of Marcus Breno. Good elbow strikes, and this is what we're talking about. Damage in these positions. Don't just continue to try to hold position. You've got to take the chance of opening up and creating a position where you're making your opponent accept damage and move.
Now he's flattened him out. He's got this deep, and it's over. And this is the evolution of Danny Sabatello right before our eyes. That was special.
You got it? Woo! He is unique. I love him.
Yeah,
let's take a look at what Breno was doing with that leg lock, because it was tight. It was well done by Breno. But when you go for the leg locks, you've got to be sure that you got it. And right now he's unable to extend it the right way. You see that bend of the knee coming up, telling you that it's past the hip junction. Nice job by Sabatello to use that foot, put pressure, and continue to slide that knee past it. And right away, right into looking for the choke. It didn't happen in that one, but landed that big elbow strike. Look at those. That makes his opponent turn, because those hurt. And then he sinks in the rear naked choke. After how many times did he try it? That's the one that finally puts an end to the match.
Danny Sabatello with the fist pump for Marcus Breno. He chased him down to make sure he showed his respect. A truly impressive bounce back performance for Danny Sabatello. Michael C. Williams will make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to an end officially inside the Bellator cage. 4 minutes, 10 seconds, round number 2. the tap by way of the rear naked choke, the winner by submission, Danny, the Italian gangster, Sabatello.
And we warn all of the kids and closed captioning operators, you're about to hear some things. To Big John we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the winner, Danny, the Italian gangster Sabatello. You put on a performance. Marcos Brennan did a great job of stopping your takedowns in the beginning, but you were just tenacious at continuing going after him and finally getting him.
Yeah, I know once I get to my attacks and I fight my style, nobody can fucking beat me. And I mean nobody in MMA at the Bantamweight division. I know I just beat an absolute stud, but I want Magomedov in Chicago, June 16th. In 1.5 months, I'm already done with this motherfucker that I just beat. My eyes are on Magomedov, June 16th, Chicago, in my homeland.
I love the fact that you're already pulling out who you want. Let's talk about what you learned from your last fight to this fight, because you were doing damage, you were going after submissions, you were doing everything that's expected.
Yeah, I learned that Stotts absolutely fucking sucks. I won that fight. I don't give a shit. My eyes are already forward to Chicago, June 16th. I have to be on that card. I'll do it for my people in Chicago. Hawaii, you guys are fucking savages out there. Love the applause. If you're cheering for me, thank you. If you are not, go fuck yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Danny Sabatello.
It almost feels like he's rehearsing the post-fight interview while the fight is going on. But whatever he prepared for, it worked. A phenomenal performance from Danny Sabatello.
Sean, what if I look at that face, though? Look, Danny Sabatello, Josh, he is fired up. We saw him when he was against the cage, smiling, saying something to Coker, and you got to wonder if he was like, put me on Chicago, man. I want to be on that card.
He's very brash, but I'm telling you right now, sitting cage side, watching it right behind Coker, and fans that are there going, this is my first live MMA event. But I remember watching him a while back, and that's why I'm here tonight, is to watch Danny Sabatello, because I remembered him from his last fight.
Every fight he does, even if he's telling people to go bleep themselves, he's making friends. We do want to mention Rafion not here tonight. I asked Danny if he was going to go watch Rafion tomorrow. He said absolutely not. They happen to be on the same flight here. What do you think about him calling out Magomedov?
Did he say absolutely not, or did he have some cuss words in there?
No, he actually said it would not be good for me to go. Like, health-wise, it would not be good for me to go.
He's very focused, he's very driven, and him calling out Magomedov, great call out, because the two of them stylistically is a fantastic fight.
A phenomenal fight. We have had so much fun. It is now time for a special introduction. Let's send it back down to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight as we honor our heroes who sacrifice themselves each and every day, we'd like to take this moment to acknowledge a woman who has selfishly dedicated her life in service to others while shattering all boundaries along the path of her 30-year career. Would you please stand up for Honolulu Fire Department's first female firefighter, first female captain, and first female battalion chief. Accompanying her, the First Lady of Fire, we welcome our former flyweight world champion and leading Wahile Ilimele McFarland. Would you please now put your hands together for the trailblazer, the Wahile of Waikiki, Debbie Elenecki.
Known for her walkouts there. I love that she is giving Debbie all the moves. This is one of the best walkouts, Josh. I think we might see this weekend. This may be better than Ilimele's tomorrow.
We talked about how good my dancing was. I'm not competing with
Oh, no, your dancing's bad.
I'm losing.
Look, we want to say a couple things about Debbie as she continues to blow this place apart with her moves there. You see the people cage side joined by her sons, her 2 nephews. Her family has history with the Honolulu Fire Department that equals up 180 years. And get this is how she got into it. Her father and brothers, all firefighters. Debbie wasn't planning on following in their footsteps until someone told her there was no room for women in the fire department, and she chose to prove them wrong. Hats off to Debbie. Hats off to the Honolulu Fire Department. And I mean, I could go home at this point. You know, I know there are 3 fights to go, but I love her energy, and maybe we'll get her here on set with us. All right, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, it was so nice of her to come to escort Debbie tonight. It is the talk of Hawaii, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, back in her hometown tonight, and she is going to be fighting tomorrow, taking on Kana Watanabe. Whoever wins that could very well be in line for a title shot. Ilima-Lei putting it all on the line, working to get one more crack at the title. Of course, also the finale of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix is tomorrow. Rafion Stott taking on Patchy Mix. That is going to be potentially one of the best fights you will see this year. Still to come, our main event, Liz Carmouche putting her flyweight belt on the line for a second time. She made a massive statement in her last fight against Juliana Velasquez. Her confidence is at an all-time high. And tonight, she is going up against Deanna Bennett in a rematch. Let's talk about Deanna Bennett. These two met back in 2020. Bennett says at that time, she gave Liz Carmouche way too much credit. Now, she cannot win the belt tonight because she missed weight, but if she beats Carmouche, Carmouche will lose that belt. As for Deanna Bennett, tonight being dedicated to military first responders, it is so important to her because it was her father who was his hero. He has since passed, but he is still her constant.
There's definitely a unique bond with dad and daughter. It's hard even just to like grasp. There's like this emotional connection just with the vulnerability that dads get when they're a girl dad. I'm very certain that my dad wanted boys, but he got 2 girls instead, so he tried to make them as rugged and manly as possible. So I wrestled, I played ice hockey. I wanted the rough and aggressive sports. My dad was my best friend, hands down, my whole life, not even when I was just a kid. He was my hero, he was my biggest fan. Every single fight he was there. He didn't miss a single one. He was the best, absolutely. He was there for me and my sister. It was great. Then in 2016, everything changed. I was driving to the gym for practice and my phone started ringing, my sister called. And I'm on the freeway and I was like, I need to pull over because my sister's in basic training and she's calling and I know something's not good. She told me that Dad had brain tumors. There's no surgery. It's just one of those aggressive types that's just, there's really nothing you can do, unfortunately. He could barely talk, only 1 or 2 words. We're in the hospital and he would say, fight. And it was him. He knew how much I loved fighting. He was a big proponent in getting me into fighting. He knew I'd be a fighter before I was. And that was the very last word he ever said to me was fight, telling me to keep doing it because he knew how much I loved it. The night that he passed, my world crashed down, absolutely. You know, I never expected to lose him. The way it happened so quickly and just being gone, my whole life changed. It puts everything into perspective, honestly. You don't know how much time you have, and so if there's something that you really want, you have to go for it. And that's what I decided to do. I quit my job to focus just on fighting, and every decision that I've made from then is just me trying to go forward with my goals. My dad was a San Jose police officer. One special thing that I have and that I actually carry with me all the time, especially fight week, is my dad's badge. It's my most prized possession, honestly. It goes everywhere with me because I know he would physically be there with me if he can. First time I fought Liz, it ended up not being my night. As far as the fight goes, I got hurt in the 3rd round and she was able to capitalize off of that.
It's over. The MMA world wanted Liz Carmouche to make a statement, and did she ever?
Liz is everything that you could want in a tough competitor. You know, she's got the striking, she's got the grappling, she's the full package as far as MMA fighter goes. And she's got the belt, for now. I'm going to beat Liz. I'm hungry for it. I've built my whole career about this. Since the last time I got out of the cage with her, it's everything that I've thought and I've dreamed and I've trained for. It's everything. If my dad could see me now, living this life that I love and going after the things that I want, I think he'd be proud of me, honestly. Fighting for this title.
So there's the motivation to beat Liz Carmouche in this rematch there. She also said her dad would be so proud for her to be in this moment on a night that we are dedicating to first responders and to troops and to veterans. Josh, everybody has, every fighter has a motivation in the back of their head, and that is a very powerful one.
Yeah, I mean, every athlete has that motivation. They got something that drives them, something that pushes them. It's the memory of her father that pushes her to be the best. And so this is her moment. You know, tonight. I know that she's not fighting for the title now because she missed weight. But with a win tonight, that will solidify her getting a potential rematch because Liz will be have lost. If she's going to lost, she'll be Liz.
We're just a couple fights away from that. That is our main event tonight. But the female power continues here. And this is full of power punches. Arlene Blanco going up against Bellator newcomer, but a very well-known name in Sarah McMahon. So Sarah McMahon making her introduction to this division here at Bellator. Arlene Blanco, though, is at the top, and she says, I know people are coming after me to be a stepping stone to try to be the #1 contender, to try to get a shot at that belt. Arlene Blanco still sitting in at #2, but Sarah has the potential to blow up this division. Let's start with Arlene Blanco here, and we're going to start with her last fight going up against Cris Cyborg. It was explosive. She did lose that fight, but it was a side of Arlene Blanco we hadn't seen before. Take a listen.
Blanco now going away quietly into the good night, although Cyborg, well, Blanco says, stand in the middle with me.
Well, if there's any place that loves to see something like that, it's Hawaii, because all these fans love when someone says, come on, right now in the middle here, let's scrap.
Josh, talk to us about the evolution that you have seen from Arlene Blanco. She said, look, obviously I was disappointed in the result of that fight. She goes, I went out on my sword, though. How have you seen her evolve, even especially just over her past handful of fights?
Well, in her first fight with Cris Cyborg, it was a different like type of fight. She got taken down, she got dominated from the top. This fight, she understood what she had to do. She went out there, stuffed takedowns, threatened takedowns. She did a great job of letting her hands go. She pushed the action. It was the confidence and the belief that I deserve to be in here against Cris Cyborg. I deserve everything I've gotten to this point. She wanted to go out there and lay it on the line. She did that. I think that's going to carry over tonight for her against Sarah McMahon.
Okay, so let's talk about Sarah McMahon. We've talked about the power of Arlene Blanco, the power punches there. Sarah McMahon from the wrestling background, a 6-time freestyling wrestling national champion. She won a silver medal in the Olympics. We just saw the power from Arlene, so how does she try to get her to the ground?
She's got power as well. Sarah McMahon has got a ton of power in her hands. She just doesn't have the confidence just yet. If she starts to get hit a little bit, she'll go right to the wrestling, force the wrestling. She needs to make sure that she's landing the shots, believe in her power, believe in her boxing, which will help set up her takedowns and make it easier to get Arlene to the ground.
It is not her first time in Hawaii. She has fought twice here before. Both of those win. She said she absolutely loves being here. Sean, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, guys, well, they have both been in with some of the best to ever do it. They have both challenged for the world title. And now with Kat Zingano, as you saw, already seated, there's only room for one more at the head of the featherweight table.
And now, for the very first time, we'll welcome her to the Bellator cage. This is Sarah McMahon.
The age-old question, right? Do we choose our path, or is our path chosen for us? Sarah McMahon will tell you she wasn't that into sports as a kid. She tagged along to her brother's wrestling meets, but when a bicycle accident ended his wrestling career, she took it up. And tonight, as she walks into the Bellator cage for the first time, she does so as decorated a female amateur as there is. 13 fights in the UFC, including what most thought, John, was an early stoppage against Ronda Rousey. She doesn't like to talk about the past, though. She is as focused to start this new chapter as anything she's ever done.
No, she's a phenomenal athlete. It's so physically strong. She can dominate women just with her strength. But I think at 135, she was losing a little bit too much weight and affected her performances in some of her fights. I think this 145-pound featherweight weight class is perfect for Sarah. I think we're going to see her best tonight.
And now set to make her play, Arlene Blanco.
You just saw some of the video. There's only one thing more impressive than having the guts to get into the cage with the GOAT Chris Cyborg, and that's doing it twice. Marloes Coenen and Arlene Blencowe. That's the entire list of fighters who got off the most feared ride in women's MMA, then got back in line to do it again. And the second time, John, only 2 humans on planet Earth had taken Chris Cyborg to the full 25 minutes. Holly Holm, and you're looking at the other one, Arlene Blencowe.
Like Arlene in that fight really proved something. I think to herself also that, hey, I made the adjustments. She really started just training at Jackson Wing. She kind of got stuck in New Mexico based upon COVID, but it was a good thing because her wrestling became so much better. Her defensive wrestling is better. Her offensive wrestling. Now she is this. I'm going to say it, these 2 ladies. She comes from a boxing background. Sarah McMahon comes from a wrestling background. But they have both molded themselves into MMA fighters where they can both do everything now. We're going to see who's better.
As we check out the tail of the tape.
Simply put, you can take a look, 15-9 for Arlene Blencowe. She has fought some of the very best, been right at just the tip of getting that championship. Same thing for 13-6 with Sarah McMahon.
So Michael C. Williams.
From here tonight in the Aloha State, Bellator MMA now moves to a feature fight in the featherweight division, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds live on Showtime. We introduce first the blue corner. At 5'6", weighing in 145.6 pounds, the Olympic wrestling silver medalist and former world title challenger, now making her Bellator debut. She brings 13 professional victories, 6 losses, fighting out of Sacramento, California, presenting Sarah McMahon. And across the cage, her adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 5'6", weighing in 146 pounds, the 3-time Bellator World Title Challenger holds 15 professional victories, 9 defeats. With the number 2 featherweight ranking, she fights out of Sydney, Australia, presenting Arlene, the Aussie girl, and your fist, Blencowe. And the referee in charge, Frank Trigg.
Go there.
Thank you. Copy, got it. Ready? Ready? Fight!
When we see Liz Carmouche later in the main event, we're going to talk about the change in confidence level after she became the world champion. Arlene Blencowe's, as Josh was just saying, and I hate to give him credit, but man, he was dead on. That second fight with Cyborg, Arlene Blencowe with that confidence became a different, so much more dangerous fight.
But the one thing, she is definitely going to be in that position where she's going to respect the wrestling ability of Sarah McMahon, because she knows her wrestling is so good that she can get me down at any time if I make a mistake. So I don't want to make mistakes, but I do want to let my hands go and force her into a stand-up battle.
Both mothers of 2, both have balanced this fight game in their extremely high-level careers with parenthood. Great takedown by McMahon.
Great job.
And Arlene fighting right through it to stay on top.
Arlene Blencowe doing a great job of forcing that. Great, you saw again, took the legs out by Sarah McMahon. This is what we're talking about. When you have that kind of wrestling ability, you can take a bad position, a bad motion, and make it work for you. And that's exactly what Sarah McMahon did.
See the Olympic rings. The back of Sarah McMahon. 2004 in Athens. First American woman to medal. Extraordinary pedigree. Some familiar faces there, John.
Just a couple of guys that kind of know the game.
A little bit.
Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn being closest to the lens there. Unbelievable coaches. just
your knee shield.
genius
Climb,
in the
climb.
MMA
Up,
field.
up. Turn,
And it's
turn,
funny, it's
keep
one of the
turning.
things that was a disadvantage for Arlene Blencowe. She tried to start a career was her kids were so young. She almost did everything backwards. Talking about fighters walking away, right, and then having kids. Her kids were already born, so now they're older. So when she goes away to jail, no one wants to be away from the kids for that long. Most people don't want to be away from the kids for that long, but you get away from teenagers, right? But it's different from when your kids are small. You can go to Jackson Wink for 6 weeks.
Absolutely, and that has made Arlene's career blossom late as far as if you're looking at years, but she hasn't taken damage in a lot of fights. That fight with Cyborg, yeah, she had blood on her face, but man, she was so in that fight, and she has proved herself to be just a tough opponent for anyone.
Certainly not where she wants to be. A world-class wrestler on top.
That's a nice job by Sarah McMahon. She's laced that arm. Now she's got it free, but she had that arm trapped. So Arlene couldn't use her one arm to try to pull herself away or to block. Sarah McMahon using a lot of strength, a lot of pressure on Arlene Blencowe, and just opening up when she gets the opportunity.
Resumes are really something. The losses, Arlene Blencowe has 5 losses in Bellator, but 4 of them were to Julia Budd and Chris Cyborg, and the other was to Marloes Kuhn.
Yeah, exactly. All women were champions somewhere.
Elite.
Yeah.
And talked about obviously Sarah's loss to Ronda when Ronda was in that run. 2013, 14, 15, when the fights were barely lasting 15, 20 seconds.
And you got to figure when Arlene is training at Jackson Wink, she's training with Holly Holmes. She's training with Clarissa Shields in the stand-up. She's got great training partners that are getting her prepared for this type of situation. So she doesn't panic. She's just going to have to work her way through it.
Sarah McMahon going all Sarah McMahon here in round 1.
Stop. Corners.
Talked about Liz Carmouche in the main event tonight, tomorrow night. If you don't know the name Patchy Mix, you will by the end of the night. The Bantamweight Grand Prix, which was so anticipated even before it began, reaches its conclusion tomorrow night with the interim champion, Rafion Stats, facing Patchy Mix.
Now listen, don't let her in like that. She only got that takedown because you let her in.
Plot ever thick and there as Patricio Pitbull, surprise guest, the Bantamweight table, will face Sergio Pettis in Chicago, and then what happens from there?
Right into your takedown, right? She's trying to pick you off now.
What's so good here is you actually have coaches in each corner. You've got Winklejohn and Greg Jackson there, but you also have Phil Nurse and Sarah McMahon. Those guys have actually coached together.
Second round. Second round.
It's up to Elijah now to start round 2. Continue to honor the military and their families.
Got it.
Man, these kids are taking this serious.
Got it.
They're supposed to.
Ready? Ready? Fight!
He told
job of that.
Told him yes. No, hold on.
Wait, nope. Amazing week for them to get to be around the legends, experience this big-time sporting event, learn some new words from Danny Sabatello. I mean, it's a learning week.
When you bring Danny Sabatello, bring the R rating.
He's the reason we have to have that thing at the start of the show. Now,
Nice.
Sarah McMahon, obviously it's a matter of time. The level change is coming. Arlene Blencowe knows it. She tried the back fist there.
Yeah, that was a beautiful entry by Sarah, and Blencowe fought it off well, but when she decided to go to that spinning back fist, that gave McMahon the opportunity to come back into that body lock.
critical moments against the Sarah McMahon, if she gets this position with 4 minutes to go in the round, you got a problem.
You definitely have a problem. You know, she's very heavy with her ride. She knows how to put the pressure. Arlene really needs to start just open up and take a chance, because you know you can't stay here for the 4 minutes now. I've got to get myself back to my feet, or I've got to reverse this position. Beautiful shoulder pressure. It looks, you know, people are going to look at that and they look like, oh, that's no big thing. There's a ton of pressure on the neck area of Arlene Blencowe when you see Sarah taking that arm, lacing it underneath, and using her shoulder to put pressure down.
Like most
nice
things,
pass.
Yeah, it's a great pass. Into side control, dropping heavy elbows.
And the one thing that Sarah McMahon is very good in this position, by side control, she uses the crucifix position. You're going to see somewhere along the way she's going to start to try to trap that left arm of Arlene Blencowe, stick it down between her legs, and then use her head to control the right hand.
Sarah McMahon, we've been talking about her accomplishments and her resume. She'll tell you her past means nothing. This is what she told us. If someone wants to beat my ass, that's enough for me to focus in on what is coming next.
Nice. That's move right into mount.
Textbook. Blencowe trying to quickly get out of there. Sarah McMahon with the hooks in.
And the one thing Sarah needs to do, get those hips lined up with Arlene Blencowe's hips. Don't come off to the side.
She is way off to the side here.
Now you see how those hips line back up. Right now, McMahon, great positioning, but she's not able to do anything. Blencowe's doing a great job of controlling the arm, one arm. As I say, you're going to see her start to move. Very nice job by Arlene.
Good job to get back up and do it quickly.
Oh, nice knee by Sarah McMahon.
Second left knee got through.
Those knees are hurting right
These
there.
are doing damage. And tie clinch, setting up those knees. And McMahon has her right back on the ground.
Good move to get back on top instead of trying to take the back right there. Very smart move by Sarah McMahon. Get on top and continue to damage. You had hurt her. Here she goes into an arm triangle position. Trying to get a little more to the side. She's got a really good squeeze. Very strong. You're seeing Arlene Blencowe saying she's okay. She's doing what we call answering the phone here with her arm, trying to keep that pressure off. You don't want your arm to get folded into your neck.
What does she need to do with her right arm?
Right now, she's not in a position to get it. She's holding that. Blencowe doing a nice job of defending. You see Sarah McMahon come right back into the top position. Great binding. A lot of pressure now on Arlene Blencowe.
It was a good first round in her Bellator debut for Sarah McMahon, but a better round two, and very close to ending it.
Stop! Corners.
Boy, this was a beautiful entry by McMahon, but Blencowe did a great job. You saw McMahon go to the single leg, but when she went for that spinning back fist, that gave her the opportunity to continue that pressure forward, get the body lock, and that's why the takedown occurred. And then once she got this opening here, and you see Blencowe get hit with the knees.
That one.
That right there, you can see to the body, it hurts. And she starts to try to cover up. And McMahon really being aggressive with it, going after her, opens up with the punches, and then right back to the takedowns.
Sarah McMahon has done a masterful
You gotta
job
go
keeping
for
Arlene
word up,
Blencowe
too.
close where she is not
Stay
nearly
safe
as dangerous.
and stay up.
Third round. Third round. Ready? Ready? Fight!
Oh!
There it is. That's why she wanted to shoot. Sarah McMahon takes a big
McMahon's in
shot.
trouble. Arlene Blencowe, she is still hurt.
There's the shot.
Arlene
She's
Blencowe
getting
going
good
after
shots
her.
in here.
She needs to get back to her feet. Don't settle. Don't allow the takedown to put you on your back. Sarah needs this. This is beautiful. It's giving her time to kind of recover. Arlene knew she was down in the fight, needed to go back and be dynamic. You saw her asking for a little bit of guidance from above even before the start of the round.
A perfect start to round 3 for Arlene Blencowe, but now it's back on the ground. And here's the thing about banking the first 2 rounds for Sarah McMahon. Normally we talk about how you have to do damage and score. She doesn't here.
No.
She's got those first 2 rounds.
Sarah can sit here and she can try to stall as much as she wants, but Blencowe needs to figure out, I've got to start working to get through this. Let me get rid of the hook. Let me start to change this position. I've got to get back to my feet. I heard it. There you go. That's not a bad thing for Blencowe to be back to her feet. That's where she's the most dangerous. That's where she can get this win.
Sarah McMahon has tasted the anger fist. Now she needs that level change.
This is exactly where Sarah needs to be. Stay close. Take away that power.
Grind.
Great wrist control by Sarah. You see Blencowe using the leg to break it.
You get an Olympic wrestler off your back.
Not an easy thing to do. When Blencowe's in that position, she had to start to try to strike because she needs to do something, but that's going to make it easier actually for Sarah McMahon to get that takedown.
Sarah McMahon trying to pass, Blencowe defending with her right leg. Ticking very much against Arlene Blencowe.
It is. McMahon just sitting there, allowing the time to go by. You hear the referee telling her to improve. It's like, I'm going to stay right where I'm at because I'm in control and I'm not being hurt right now. Almost in a north-south position here.
Anything is going to keep Arlene Blencowe on the ground.
This is when, if you're Blencowe, you're wishing they allowed the rules of knees to the head. It's an illegal technique. You see Sarah McMahon just continuing to put pressure, letting the time just tick by. That's what she needs to do. You're seeing Arlene Blencowe use her legs. She wants to swing her legs from one side to the next to use that momentum to be able to turn her body.
The corner calling, Sarah McMahon's corner calling for a Darce from here.
She doesn't have the position to do the Darce right now. So I don't know why they're calling
she's
for
just
it.
playing defense right now.
She's playing control, and I don't blame her. nice elbow strike by McMahon.
Knee on belly. Sarah McMahon is just emptying anything to keep her down on the ground. She doesn't need to do damage. She just needs to keep her from standing up. A lot of drama, but Sarah McMahon hangs on, literally.
Corner.
You read her lips. It was almost as she said that was fun, which makes me wonder about her definition of it.
I think it was fun for her. You know, she going out there. This was the shot that started that third round, and it definitely got Sarah McMahon. Her bell was rung, and Arlene Blencowe going after her. You can see just the look in her eyes. She's not all there. The follow-up shots, you know, Blencowe really going after her, trying to finish this fight. See McMahon not fully in control of being able to get her body, but once there were all these shots by Arlene Blencowe, but still that grappling experience allowing Sarah McMahon to get in on the legs, get the takedown, and give her time to recover. Take a look at those stats.
It was the difference. And in the first couple of rounds, Sarah McMahon was doing damage. She was advancing her position. She was staying on offense and scoring. In the third round, the ground control was all defensive in nature after getting her bell rung, as you saw in the opening seconds. And that was what made that so dangerous for Sarah McMahon, is what you saw there on the replay. Those were the opening seconds of the third round. But Sarah McMahon going to that pedigree, survived, kept Arlene Blencowe on the ground. A memorable promotional debut for Sarah McMahon. See if the judges saw it the way we saw it.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your three judges at cage side. Your first, Michael Bell, scores at 29-27. Mike Onzuka scores at 30-27. Derek Cleary, 30-26. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Sarah McMahon.
Spectacular way to start in Bellator for Sarah McMahon. She is with John McCarthy.
I'm here with your winner, Sarah McMahon. Sarah, that was a battle. You looked fantastic in the first two rounds. You were able to utilize your wrestling. Your striking was good. How did you feel coming in up a weight class? Because normally you've been fighting at Bantamweight 135. How did the 145 feel?
So it wasn't as big of a difference as I thought. She's on caliber with every girl that I fought in the UFC. She's tough as hell. So it really felt like almost the same.
Oh, I think it was just about the same, especially that third round. You knew that you had 2 rounds in the bank. Third round, she really came after you. How hurt were you?
So I flashed for a second, but I did that in the first 2 rounds too. When she connected, she hits hard. So I didn't really faze me any more than the other hits that she got.
Well, I'll tell you what, you put on a fantastic performance. Your wrestling was on par. Congratulations on your first win here in Bellator. That was an outstanding victory. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sarah McMahon.
The Bellator debut to remember, 2 dominant rounds and then scrambling for her life against the dangerous Arlene Blencowe in a dramatic round number 3. Amanda, that was good stuff.
Yeah, it really was. It's going to be very curious to see where she ends up in those rankings. Hey, we want to give a shout out to the Air Force Band of the Pacific rocking out tonight. They're our house band tonight. Look, young faces here, combined 50 years of active duty between this band. We asked them how many tours they've had. They said way too many to count. They just returned from performing in Australia and Indonesia, and now for Bellator MMA. Obviously tonight, dedicated to our troops, Bellator MMA Fight for Our Heroes needs to throw some respect to our very own, to the talent, the fighters, the staff, the crew here in our Bellator family who have all served in the U.S. military and supported our local communities as first responders. Tonight, we fight for you, we salute you, and we thank you. You are our honorary champions. We are in the middle of back-to-back explosive nights here in Hawaii. Our main event still to come, the Women's Flyweight World Championship. But tomorrow, the conclusion of the tournament that has taken the MMA world by storm, the final fight of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. $1 million is on the line, and two fighters who have paved their entire careers to get to this point, and a win for either of them that can change everything.
Growing up in Houston, Texas, memories are just filled of, a lot of fun and family. My mom is the most influential figure in my life. She was a single parent. She came up in Section 8 housing. She scratched and clawed her way out. She always taught us how to be sensitive, how to be tough. She taught us everything. My mom passed away. That was a super heavy blow to me. I went through this state of just being angry at everything, angry at the world, angry at God. Wrestling for me was a positive outlet because I can use that anger and put that anger into something. Well, it was anger at first, and then it turned into me doing this to make my mama proud. That, kind of spiraled off to me winning major championships in wrestling and to where we are today.
It was great growing up in Angola, New York. It's a small suburb outside of Buffalo. When I was born, my cousin Rose adopted me, and I weighed 1 pound 8 ounces. I was very premature. Didn't know if I would make it. When Rose brought me home, she said she could fit me in her palm. It was very hard growing up. All my friends had mom and dad. I always had mom, and mom was Rose, and Rose was our cousin. It's just a different family dynamic that I always had to explain. The suburb where I'm from, it's a tough story to tell all the other kids that are around the school. Me being the youngest, I think made me tough, and me seeing that my brothers and sisters, 16 years old, they were working. I was the one to chase my dream. I didn't play football, I didn't play baseball, I didn't play basketball. Wrestling was my life. I like the single combat of wrestling. I like the 1 versus 1, a man versus man. And I knew at a young age that I wanted to compete in MMA or at a higher level. My senior quote was, "Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. 6 minutes on the mat is all that matters." 6 minutes was all we had, You only had that time to make your name. And right now, 25 minutes and one man standing in my way of a world title, $1 million, and everything I've ever dreamed of.
I remember times where I had to win a jiu-jitsu tournament to make rent. For me, this $1 million is life-changing money.
When I get this win, my life will change, my family's life will change, and I'm just gonna take care of my family.
Oh, and there's good timing by Magomedov. What a reversal by Mix. The Apache Mix Express continues rolling in the Bantamweight World Grand Prix.
I feel like I've overcome a lot of obstacles to get to this point, and this is one last big hurdle.
And still, interim Bellator Bantamweight World Champion, Rafian Stotts.
Rafian Stotts versus Apache Mix, the two best bantamweights in the world.
We are gonna have a contest of all the skills of MMA.
Fighting for a chance to change everybody in their family's life.
Kickboxing, karate, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all the skills put together.
Two dudes, ready to throw bombs.
I will dominate him in every moment of the fight, in every position of the fight.
The human backpack.
I'm well equipped to defend and offend.
It's over! Rafian Super Stotts!
I'm better than 6 of them. I got one more. It's gonna be Rafian Stotts.
We have the best of the best who's ready to compete for $1 million. I feel like it don't get much bigger than that.
And it really doesn't. The introduction to those two fighters is absolutely incredible. Josh, we saw in that feature there how much each of them have had to overcome to get to this point, go up against the odds. And look, this is fun for us. It's going to be a great show. They like to put on a show for fans, but you know this is a fighter. As anybody who has stepped into that cage, this is their livelihoods on the line.
There's a lot of pressure for this. You're the Bantamweight World Grand Prix champion, so that means there's a belt that comes along with that. Plus the interim Bantamweight title is on the line. And not to mention life-changing money at $1 million on top of their normal fight purse. There's a lot at stake with just your hand being raised at the end of this. There's a lot of pressure that comes along with it. Both of them, though, are in the finals for a reason because they know how to rise to the pressure.
That is our main event tomorrow night, the conclusion of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. But tonight it is time for our co-main event, a battle of heavyweights. Tim Johnson going up against Syed Soma. Josh, I asked you going into this if you've ever fought a friend, and you said no. These two guys are way nicer than you. What?
Well, no. I fight a friend every time I'm at this desk.
Okay.
You and I get after it.
Yeah, there you go. Here's the thing. I do want to mention these two guys met in Russia. They became friends. Let's start with Tim Johnson, though, because this is a night dedicated to the military. Look, he is somebody that became a member of the Army National Guard. He is still a member of the Army National Guard. He was deployed to Iraq back in 2011, 2012. He told us he's never been on this card before, the one that we do here in Hawaii. I've always wanted to be on one of these cards dedicated to the troops and first responders, so tonight is a dream come true for him. So let's talk about his tactic in this. He feels like his back is against the wall. He's had a couple losses going into this. He says, if I want to keep fighting and I want to keep providing for my family, I need a win in this, and I know I can get back to the fighter who has all of those finishes.
Yeah, he's got all the abilities. That's never been the issue with him. Like, he's got the power, he's got the size, he's got good cardio for such a big guy. He knows how to push the pace. He sometimes will start off a little bit slow, and he understands, like you said, his back is to the wall right now, and he understands what he needs to do. He's got that power, as Tyrell Fortune found out. Slid in nicely, landed the big shot, fight was done. When he fought Matt Mitrione, came out aggressive. Big shots, got to the top position, and landed down the vicious ground and pound. He's got power, he's got size, he's got wrestling. All of those things that he needs to use tonight against Soma. If he does that, I think he's got a great chance of winning this fight and getting back on the win track.
Yeah, as mentioned, these two guys like each other. Tim Johnson didn't want to fight Syed Soma. And this is curious because he didn't want to do this fight either, but look, this is business. They have to fight each other. You got to get down to it. And Syed Soma said something that he has been working with is aggressiveness. He needs that aggressiveness, almost to be angry. And he talked to a coach who said, look, don't be angry. Use urgency. How does he find that urgency stepping in the cage?
It's simple. It's a switch that you need to turn on in the back. And I look at it too, like, he is a slow starter, but in the back, he needs to basically get the first round out of the way with the pad work, the grappling, the warm-up in the back. Because when he gets going, he's unstoppable. He's got vicious leg kicks. He's got great hands. He's got great movement. He's not a big heavyweight, so he's got a really good gas tank for someone to just scoot around and move around. He also said, look, when heavyweights try to push me to the fence, I'm smaller than them, a lot smaller than them. He's like, so I can skirt out the side, I can kind of come up under the underhooks, put their back to the fence, and dominate the position. I look for him to use his movement, but he's got to get started early. If he doesn't get started early, this fight could get away from him.
They're pretty friendly at weigh-ins, though, but as I mentioned, look, this is business, this is a fight. You know certain things go on. When those weigh-ins are done, things are behind the scenes, they can get a little chippy.
Yeah, sometimes some swings are, some paddles are being thrown and some punches are being thrown.
Okay, so we found these two after the weigh-ins at the hotel, and they really started swinging.
Just some really disturbing video of what happens sometimes when it spills over like that.
Oh, man, you're taking a look there. Soma had that top roll, and then Tim had his opportunity and flattened it right into the net. I hope he doesn't do that
Extreme
in the cage.
Couture, they do all that work along the fence, but they do no work, obviously, at the net.
Obviously, the net is not part of the equation.
All right, important fight, though, in the heavyweight division here for real. Now, right now, Ryan Bader, he rules the roost at heavyweight, obviously, and Linton Vassell has written a remarkable second act to his career all the way to the #1 contender spot. Tim Johnson's been there, done that. But now the older veteran trying to hold his spot in line against the upstart looking to climb, but this story has a twist.
And now he's set to make his way to the cage. This is Saeed Soma.
One of the most famous American novels in history was a 1960s sci-fi story called Stranger in a Strange Land, about a human raised on Mars who comes to Earth. Well, that's pretty much how Saeed Soma felt in Moscow 18 months ago, sitting on the podium during the press conference for Fedor's last fight in Russia. Nobody knew who he was. He just sat there for an hour and a half until Tim Johnson finally said, hey, can somebody ask this dude a question here? Because he had been through that same thing Tim had in the UFC press conferences, but you have to love the poetry, John, of Tim Johnson trying to call attention to Saeed Soma because he's got his attention now.
Oh, he's definitely got his attention now. Look at Saeed Soma he's that hybrid heavyweight. He is very good, and the one thing he's got is a big gas tank. Saeed does not get tired. He will grapple, he will strike. He's got beautiful low leg kicks. He attacks the calf well, and once he starts rolling, he is hard to stop. The real thing, just like Josh said, is he's got to get rolling, and hopefully in the back, he put in some hard time getting warmed up because he needs to get that first round out of the way so he gets 2, 3, and 4 here and puts on a great performance.
And now we welcome one of our service members. Would you please put your hands together for Tim Johnson?
Tim Johnson is the man who told you, for this reason, walking through the line of military on both sides of him, he's always wanted to fight on this card, and he almost couldn't, ironically. Why? Because his annual 2 weeks of training as a National Guardsman in Minnesota was scheduled for this week. Define irony, but this isn't the only dream he's been able to fulfill. Tim Johnson was on a 3-fight losing streak at just about the end of his Bellator road, and now he has his people here in Hawaii behind him, and he has his people there. That's a live look in Minnesota. The Army National Guard and his 334th Brigade Battalion. Pretty extraordinary story for Tim Johnson. So happy to be here tonight. Let's check out the tale of the tape.
Yeah, the real question in this fight is the weight, because at 262 pounds, Tim Johnson is a big man, strong power. Can Saeed Soma take that weight and just neutralize it for long enough to where it gets tired and he takes over?
Bellator MMA now presents live on Showtime tonight's co-main event, 3 5-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 239.2 pounds. His professional record, 8 wins, 4 defeats. By way of Suriname, he fights out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Saeed Soma. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6'3", weighing in 262 pounds even, the active Minnesota Army National Guardsman as a professional stands with 15 victories, 9 losses. Out of Lamberton, Minnesota, he fights out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Introducing Tim Johnson. In charge, your referee, Jason Herzog.
Saeed Soma sometimes gets off to slow starts, as John said, but as we continue our honoring the month of the military child, Taden's going to make sure we get a quick start here.
First round, fighter, you ready?
Solid start right there.
Jason Herzog is all in on this. Romance that everyone has enjoyed this week. Now, we saw highlights. You saw as Josh and Amanda were talking. You've seen highlights of Saeed Soma. That was Vitaly Minakov he beat in Moscow, the longtime heavyweight champion in Bellator.
Yeah, and look, they had trained a lot together because they both trained in the American Top Team. And so Soma knew, look, this guy's a better wrestler than me. He is really tough for me to deal with. But let me attack his legs and let me get after him, and he did that so well, and that's what got him the win. Eventually, it was, a dislocation of the finger.
But he was winning.
But he was winning the fight.
Josh and Amanda were saying, Tim Johnson, he's been, it seems like just yesterday, but it was 2 or 3 years ago, he was in this exact same spot on a losing streak on the last fight of his contract, and then we saw the highlights of beating Terrell Fortune and beating Matt Metrione and turning the whole thing around. The Czech Congo fight really got it started for him.
Yeah. And this right here, this is good for Tim because he needs to make Saeed carry that weight by pressing on him. Just put him in a position to carry the weight for a while. All these little knees and things just start to add up as far as giving the Charlie horse, making the leg feel a little bit heavy. But the one thing that Tim really needs to do when he gets to these positions is continue to work. Don't just hold on. Don't try to just hold position. You've got to think about doing something that's going to slow Saeed down. Soma in a good position with double underhooks there. That's why you're seeing him be able to turn the position here.
Talked about all the different backgrounds that different fighters come from. And Saeed Soma, like a lot of things about him, so unique. He was a swimmer.
But I think that's part of why he is so good with his conditioning and his cardiovascular. He got big lungs from swimming for a long time throughout his youth, and he just can go.
To avoid the slow start, lack of aggression that was costing that sort of that Ben Henderson syndrome. Particularly after when Ben Henderson came over to Bellator, he'd been fighting 5-round fights. And all of a sudden he came and he was fighting elite fighters and fighting 3-round fights. And before you blink of an eye, he was down 1-0 in a 3-round fight.
That's it, right? And being a slow starter is something, it's not something you're thinking about doing, you're trying to do. You're trying to get your reads, you're trying to figure out where you think you can attack opponent. But before you know it, the round's gone by. It's not like you've gotten beat up, but you just haven't done enough to win the round, and now you're a round down. In MMA, most of the fights being 3 rounds, that's not an easy thing to overcome.
Tim Johnson, by the way, is a right-handed person who fights southpaw.
That's because of wrestling.
Yep. That's a good shot by Soma right down the middle.
A lot of wrestlers lead with that right foot, and if you're used to, if you've done that your whole life, oh, that was a nice high kick by Soma. If you're used to utilizing that right foot lead, it's easier just to become a southpaw and stand up than try to change your takedowns. Nice job by Tim Johnson.
Soma saw it coming, felt it coming, and still couldn't stop it.
Soma doing a good job of at least getting his back. You saw there was just that moment. His back almost hit the canvas. Instead, he was able to get his hands behind him, get himself with his back against the cage. That's going to make it a lot tougher for Tim. Tim Johnson in a great position, though. This is where he needs to be.
Again, Tim Johnson fighting a smart fight, which is something in his losses, particularly with Fedor. You say, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do A, B, C, D. Then all of a sudden you're in Moscow and Fedor's on the other side, and you're like, let's go. And then the next thing you know, you're looking at the ceiling.
If you're going to look at a fight for Tim Johnson that he really showed, his ability to fight with a fast, smaller as Moldavsky. And boy, he put on such a great performance, and he was so good in the later rounds. He was really coming on.
That was the interim title fight in which Moldavsky held off Tim Johnson, became the interim champion, and eventually Ryan Bader came back to heavyweight. The older heavyweights and the second chapters. You see it with Tim Johnson. We're seeing it now with Linton Vassell.
And those kicks right there, that's what Soma needs to do. Attack the body, attack the legs.
That's tough. That's a tough round. I saw you leaning over your scorecard the same way I was doing it. I was doing it too. Like,
You're trying to remember back everything that occurred in that round. A couple shots landed by Soma, some good kicks, some good work by Tim Johnson. He did get the takedown.
Yeah, they loved it in Minnesota. You betcha.
You're seeing everything. You're good. You're good. When that high kick
listen,
comes,
MMA judges, You're getting killed. That's what Twitter's for. By the way, how you doing without your blue check mark? Are you surviving the first couple of days that life is going on?
Surviving.
It's the easiest thing to criticize in the world. It's a very difficult job a lot of the time. And that first round is a great example of trying to decide in 5 minutes. You can make a very legitimate case for both.
Yes, you can. Soma had some good strikes, especially with the kicks in that.
Around, buddy, ready?
Johnson had some good grappling maneuvers. He landed a couple of good shots. Johnson wearing a little bit of the damage that Soma created. Those kicks, that's what Soma needs to go to. Inside, down low, up high, all of them.
Looking at the right knee of Tim Johnson, there was a kick, and as you were talking late in the first round, Said Soma connected on a pretty good leg kick to Tim Johnson's front leg, that right leg. That's how he beat Minikov. That's how he was beating Minikov before the bizarre finger injury that ended.
Yeah. But Tim Johnson, look, he's not the fastest fighter out there, but I can tell you, I repped him when he was in the UFC, and he was a pure wrestler. He is so much better with his stand-up, because at least now he can be comfortable in the stand-up, and he does have power. He can land the one shot that can put anybody down. He's got that kind of snap when he lands. So with the wrestling, all he needs to do is combine all those elements during the fight. Soma got, I don't know if he got poked in the eye, hit in the eye, but you can see his one eye is closing as far as he's holding it closed.
Put his head on the pin. Drive, pressure. Head position.
Soma needs to turn off of the fence. Don't allow Tim to put your back to the fence. Very nicely done.
Yep. That's why we show you the tail of the tape, because only in the heavyweight division can you have a big disparity like this.
It is a big disparity when you're looking at it. The amount of weight differential there is huge, because you're talking multiple weight classes if it was in the lower weights. And we look at heavyweights and go, oh, it doesn't matter. It does, because you're having to carry that weight, push that weight, move that weight. Every time you're seeing Soma move Tim Johnson, he's moving a lot of weight.
Pressure, undercut. Hey, go to the single. Lock the hands, watch your arm.
Tim Johnson trying to get those hands together. If he doesn't, he might switch to the single leg here.
Watch your hand. Go up, yep, there you go.
Well, decided to climb back up. Nice job of pummeling inside by Soma. That's what gets him free.
There you go, jab.
High kick lands. Said Soma with the striking, all the work. American top team.
You can see
one of the great coaches.
You can see the snap on that kick. Look, when he launches, it doesn't look like it's not set up that much. He's got snap on it. The guy really can kick well. Beautiful front teeth.
Easy taking their toll now, you can see. What a great career he had. What's your weight class, King Mo? Money weight.
Yeah, money weight. There you go. And it didn't matter. Middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight.
It's hard to pick, you want to pick a high point in his career, but you and I were both in Tokyo for him winning that first rise in the Grand Prix. Yep. And that might have been 2015 King Mo.
Probably the best King Mo there ever was. That front teeth is
some serious damage, yeah.
It is money for Soma. He needs to continue to go back to it. Take a look at those kicks landed. 15 of 21 for Soma, 1 of 2 for Tim Johnson. So Tim Johnson's being more of the boxer.
See the advantage of Tim Johnson's weight against the cage, but here's the disadvantage. Soma's just so much quicker here in the middle of the cage.
And if Soma can continue to put pressure, it makes Tim Johnson work past his comfort zone. All heavyweights want to find that space to catch their breath. Any fighter does. But it's so important with heavyweights. And if Soma can continue to put pressure, it makes things tough on tape.
Shots from Tim Johnson, but they're not landing.
Yeah, he's finding it very tough to land a clean shot.
Really good second round for Said Soma. They're enjoying it in Minnesota, watching their colleague. Meanwhile, here's a live look. U.S. Army Central in Kuwait. On this night that we celebrate the troops and the military service here in Honolulu. There's a connection between them that goes worldwide. There's a connection between these two fighters, but you see the younger, smaller fighter starting to have his way as the fight grows longer.
Hey, and don't stay still. Hey. Quit going back into line circles.
There are very few fighters in all the fighter interviews I've done over the years, John, where you just said, I had the thought bubble in my head 7, 8 years ago, this guy's gonna be a coach.
Oh, yeah.
You knew with King Mo, his fight IQ was off the chart.
People have no idea when you sit there and you talk with King Mo, all the things that he understands about the fight game, about the transitions in between. Phenomenal coaching. He's doing just a fantastic job. He's one of the great coaches there at American Top. I got to tell you.
All these guys now like, hey, do you watch your opponent? No, I just can't. King Mo was watching video clips and breaking that stuff down 10 years ago.
Tim Johnson coming out with some kicks here.
Shots not really doing damage, but they're creating the position along the fence that he wants.
That's exactly what, because you saw it, Tim threw 3 right hands there. Left hand was cocked and ready to go, never threw it because he was more thinking about getting him into that grappling clinch position. But look at what you're seeing with Soma. Look at the underhooks. He's got the double unders. That's going to allow him to push Tim. He doesn't have to be as strong. He's got a leverage advantage here. Now we're back to being even.
So an escaped elbow as he steps up. The odds mathematically of this ending in a draw is a really long shot, but he can get that ping pong table in there to finish it.
I don't know. From what I saw, I think Soma had an advantage.
Let's go. Stay on. 2-1 now. Straight, just jab.
That's what Tim Johnson needed to do in a close fight.
You saw once he got those double unders, that body lock, he was in a great position, did not waste time. Now the big thing is to keep Soma from being able to turn towards the cage to help him get up. Let's see if Tim Johnson can do some damage down here.
Gotta think at this point, it's either 1-1 or it's 2-0 Soma. But it could be easily either of those things.
Yep.
Johnson's just trying to create an attack that will drive Soma back to the fence. That Soma banked early are paying dividends.
Soma digging that underhook again. Now he changes position. He's done that continuously throughout the fight. When Tim Johnson has been able to get him up against the cage, Soma's the one that's digging those underhooks. He changes the position. Soma needs to break free here. Get back to the kicks. Oh, nice right hand landed there by Soma. I don't believe it did hurt him, but it was cleanly landed. That's been the biggest difference in this fight, is that front two kick to the body. Tim Johnson has eaten that many times, and it's had an effect. He's hadn't taken some of the gas away. He's been fantastic as far as his conditioning, but it's not easy to eat those. There's your kick. Take a look at those kicks. That's 26 of 42 compared to 6 of 9.
It doesn't show you how heavy they were, and many of them were heavy. See, Tim Johnson, a lot of those punches he's throwing, that percentage is so low because they're just sort of wild shots to get Saeed Soma on the defensive so he can get him there. Fans, so many military in the building, and the chant Tim wasn't working. They couldn't get it together, so they figured that Johnson would be a little bit, that would catch on more.
2 syllables working much better.
They tried Army before, that didn't really catch. Probably the 15-minute fight, you gotta come up with something quick.
Tim Johnson working hard right to the very end, trying to find that shot. That's nicely done.
Couple of bros battling it out, throwing hands with high stakes here, go the distance. Loved every minute in Minnesota. Got their wild in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they got Tim Johnson in the Bellator cage. It looked like this could be a big third round for Tim Johnson with this early takedown.
Yeah, that takedown at the beginning, when he got those arms around the body and was able to quickly take Soma down, you looked and said, this might be what he's looking for, but Soma was able to get right back up without receiving any damage. And those kicks right there by Soma were big. Nice left hand, right hand by Soma. Soma really just controlling distance throughout for the most part. Tim having to take big lunging attacks to try to beat the speed.
It wasn't in the third when you had your speed cross. I thought to myself, I was like, oh shit, speed cross right now. I didn't see you put it back in.
What do you think, John? This is an interesting one. I can see a lot of people seeing it a lot of different ways.
It's a close one. It could go either way.
This is my money maker. It's a mustache. Thank you, man. Thank you. Good job. Thank
you. Michael C. Williams knows the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your 3 judges seated at cage side. All 3, Derek Cleary, Sal D'Amato, Brian Miner, see it exactly the same. They all see it at 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Tim Johnson.
If they had played ping pong, it would have gone past 21, where you got to win by 2. But here you only had to win by 1 round, and Tim Johnson did. He's with John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Tim Johnson. Tim, that was a tough fight for you based upon just trying to track him down at times. It looked like the range and distance, the kicks that he was throwing were giving you trouble, and you were getting these big lunges trying to get after him to get into your grasp to take him down.
Yeah, I got caught in between a couple. Oh, you want to hold it? Okay. I got caught in between a couple times, figuring out to rush him or try to cut him off, and that front teep was starting to freaking do its justice. I couldn't see it coming. Hey, before I say anything else, or Big John asks anything else, give a round of applause to Saeed. That's one of the nicest athletes I've ever met in my entire life. He deserves more than applause. And I look forward to watching him the rest of his fighting career.
You have turned from a wrestler into a guy that uses your hands really well, and even in cutting off the cage, he was very good at trying to break through your
ability to get that clinch, but when you got that clinch in the third round, right away with that body lock, you got the takedown. Did that help with that confidence in getting this fight?
Yeah, I knew it was close. I mean, who can tell what judges want nowadays? I don't know. You know, I'm cut, I'm bleeding. You know, Saeed looks like he just came from the spa. I haven't really touched him other than, you know, body shots and leg kicks. I knew I needed a couple takedowns, and I think that last one kind of might have sealed the round for me.
Well, that was a beautiful win in front of the troops here. I know everybody in Minnesota was very happy. I was watching them.
Yeah, absolutely, everyone. Hey, hope you're enjoying the snow up at Camp Ripley, everybody. It's kind of nice out here in Hawaii. First of all, I want to wish my wife a happy birthday. Hope this is a good enough birthday present for you, sweetie.
Sounds good. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Tim Johnson.
Family man, a tough man, a Minnesota man. And U.S. Army through and through. Tim Johnson. To Amanda we go.
Probably two of the nicest fighters that you're ever going to see there. That is our co-main event. I'm not sure this next fight is going to be as nice. Up next, it is time for our main event, the Women's Flyweight World Championship. Current champ Liz Carmouche versus Deanna Bennett. As mentioned earlier in the show, Deanna Bennett missed weight by just over a pound. She cannot win the belt, but if she does win the fight, Carmouche will lose the belt and the title will become vacant. Josh, let's talk about rematches. This fight is a rematch. Both of these women are coming off rematches as well. As fans, absolutely love them. You had a lot of rematches in your career. Do you prefer a rematch or going up against a new opponent?
I go for a fighter. There's a lot less nerves because the filling out process is already done. I understand how fast the fighter is. I understand how much power they have. I know their footwork. I know all of these things. So as a fighter, it makes it a lot easier to break the ice in the second fight because you come out, you know exactly what you need to do to get it done.
All right, let's start with the champ Liz Carmouche here. Look, her confidence is through the roof right now. She beat Juliana Velasquez. A lot of people weren't sure about that. She beat her again. She submitted her. She said, look, I think since I fought Deanna the last time, I've gotten 10% better with each of my fights. She goes, she's just getting 1% better. What do you think about Liz Carmouche and what she needs to do to get the win?
Well, in Liz's first fight with Juliana Velasquez, she was trying to figure her out still. She didn't realize how good she was at stuffing takedowns, how good she was on the feet, how good she was at keeping the distance. Liz found a way in that second fight. She understood what she needed to do from the first fight, came out and dominated the second fight. And she has gotten better. She continues to get better every single time in that cage, in that Bellator cage. I think a lot of it too was in the beginning, it's the nerves of fighting, new promotion, new fighters, not familiar yet. She's figured it out, and now that's why she's the champ.
Deanna Bennett also coming off back-to-back wins in a rematch against Justine Kish there, got better just like Liz Carmouche in the second time around. Look, the first time she faced Liz Carmouche, she lost, but it was close. She got hurt in the third round. What do we see her do different tonight?
Yeah, she pulled her hamstring in the third round, which ultimately led to Liz getting to her back and getting the finish. But in this fight, she's gonna have to just pick up where she left off in terms of the grappling, the wrestling. She's gotta go out there and dominate the wrestling. Use the jab, stick it in her face, use the reach and the length to her advantage so she can stick and move, and then as Liz tries to rush in, try to get in deep on the takedowns, get the finish, and get to the top position.
Take a look at this rematch against Justine Kish here, and we talked about improving from fight to fight. What is her skills right now? I mean, you talked about some of them though.
Yeah, no, her wrestling is on point and her striking's on point. She believes in her striking, but it all leads to her wrestling. If she gets to the top position though, against Liz Carmouche, she could end up winning this fight and she could dominate that top position. But it's a tough task because Liz Carmouche is a very strong fighter.
This is going to be an all-out war. Sean, we're going to send it back down to you.
Yeah, Amanda, it's going to be a good one. Liz Carmouche's legacy, it was pretty secure when she first set foot in a Bellator cage, but as you guys are saying, champion Liz might be the best version yet. She didn't have to put the title on the line tonight, but that is what champions do. Deanna Bennett, now she no longer has a title to fight for, but her singular motivation and inspiration, that hasn't changed.
Set now and making her way to the cage, Deanna Vitamin D Bennett.
Your eyes will always be focused on the two combatants in the cage. That's the way it should be. We almost never notice the doctors and the judges and the crew and the people behind the scenes. When Strikeforce was making his mark in the early days of the sport here on Showtime, so many big events in San Jose, and one of the people you never noticed was San Jose police officer Mark Bennett, working security. But when his daughter Deanna lost him suddenly in 2008, his final word to her, fight. She has fought for her career. She has fought for her father's memory, and tonight she fights in the main event against a world champion. John, how does she pull off the upset?
She pulls off the upset by doing what she's best at, and that is out wrestling and out grappling Liz Carmouche. When it comes to her ground game, she is very good with her strikes, and she needs to consistently threaten that takedown with Liz. Don't make her feel comfortable anytime, and when on the top position, do damage. Don't think of just looking for the submission. Do damage to set up the submission.
A rematch nearly 3 years in the making. Tonight, Deanna Bennett fights in the main event. World champion Liz Carmouche, meanwhile, she fights for her family, she fights for the troops, but especially for the branch to which she is Semper Fidelis.
I take a lot of pride in being a Marine. There's pride in saying and identifying as that name, I am a Marine. There's something different about them. They're tough, they're gritty, there's a pride in who they are as they identify as a person, how they wear that uniform, and it was something I connected with, and I knew that if I was going to join the military, there was only one branch I could join, and it had to be the Marine Corps. You know, when I think of fighting in front of other service members, it gives me a sense of excitement. It makes my hair stand up knowing that I can offer that to them. Because one thing that I remember when I was active duty is when people would come out and they would offer their services, and that what I was so grateful for my experiences when I'm in, now I get to offer the same thing back. Semper Fidelis means always faithful. It's the fighting spirit that every Marine brings with them into battle, and it's that same fighting spirit that I bring with me every time I step into that cage.
And now the reigning Bellator Flyweight World Champion, Liz Gorilla Carmouche.
There are so many overused expressions in sports, you could probably rattle a few off the top of your head, but it's hard to overuse barrier breakers because by definition there can only be one. Liz Carmouche has broken so many barriers, the few that are left probably tremble in her wake. Of course, she could probably put them all back together again because that's what she did with helicopters as a Marine during her 3 tours of the Middle East. Barrier broken. The first openly gay fighter in high-level MMA. Barrier broken. The first female UFC fight with Ronda Rousey. Barrier broken. But now, John, she has broken the barrier that meant the most to her, becoming the world champion, and her confidence now at an all-time high.
Yeah, she had 3 shots at that. And in the third one, she made it happen. But the thing that is so impressive, Sean, is that I look at when someone becomes champion, they at least get 10% better as a fighter. And she is absolutely that. You look at her rematch against Juliana Velasquez and the way she went after her, it showed the improvement in her. She needs to keep constant pressure on Bennett and be sure that you scramble the top position. In the top position, you're going to be dominant in this fight. Don't allow her to be on top of you.
The tail of the tape in the main event, the flyweight world title is on the line. If Liz Carmouche loses the fight, she does lose the title.
You know, we've talked about this before. I got to go to the weight. Look at that, 125 pounds. That is Liz Carmouche. That is championship weight. She's the champion, and she did what she was supposed to do. 126.2. Deanna Bennett missed the mark, and that is it's just a crime.
Main event time. Flyweight world title time. Michael C. Williams time.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on Showtime, the time has come here at Bellator's Fight for Our Heroes for the main event of the evening. 5 5-minute rounds for the Bellator Flyweight World Championship. Sanctioned by the Hawaii State Athletic Commission, Executive Officer James Skizuski. And now, here in Honolulu, Hawaii, we welcome first and introduce the blue corner. At 5'4", weighing in 126.2 pounds. Her professional record, 13 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw. From Fremont, California, she fights out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the head of Vitamin D, Bennett. And across the cage, the champion tonight fights out of the red corner at 5'6", weighing in 125 pounds even, defending her world title for the second time she enters with 18 professional victories, 7 defeats. By way of Okinawa, Japan, she fights out of San Diego, California. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Marine Corps combat veteran and reigning Bellator flyweight world champion, Liz Gorilla Carmouche. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge, Kerry Hatley.
All right, here we go, Deanna. Here we go, Liz. All right, ladies, 5 round for the Bellator Women's Flyweight Championship of the World. Conduct yourself like champions at all times. Obey the rules we went over in the dressing room at all times, and obey my commands at all times. Fight hard. Touch them up if you're going to. Here we go. Let's go to work.
Okay, a little confusion.
I don't know if that was confusion as much as Liz Carmouche taking personally Deanna Bennett not making weight for this fight.
That's it.
That what is on the line for Liz Carmouche. She didn't have to put the title on the line, but that's what champions do. Deanna Bennett can't win it, but she can make a statement. Bayani will get us going.
All right, ladies.
Good job.
Your hard work pays off right here. Ready? Ready? Let's go to work.
Liz Carmouche first came to Bellator. People wanted to see that dynamic finisher. Her fights were not dynamic until she got in with Conor Watanabe.
Oh!
Look at her go right into trying to trap Bennett. Liz Carmouche talked, now Deanna Bennett missed weight by a mile for the first fight. And Liz Carmouche talked about making her pay for it.
Liz thought it actually had an impact in the fight. She thought it made it, much more difficult on her in certain situations that she had weight. She did not go through the struggle of trying to lose weight so much as the way she felt about it. So she was not happy. And then when this one happened, it was just another jab at her, in her opinion, that you didn't make weight for a championship fight. Doesn't make sense to me.
And another reason that she takes it so personally is that she's probably more comfortable at 135 than at 125. Liz is. And so she's putting in all that work. And then
absolutely. Deanna decided to try to push her back towards the cage. Liz can use this position to get herself either back to her feet if she wants, try to get her back up on the cage. Right now you see she's trying to have wrist control, trying to push that arm through to bring up that leg, see if she can look towards a triangle. Bennett working really hard, trying to utilize some ground and pound here, trying to hit to the body, bringing the elbows up towards the head. Liz really controlling the posture. Take a look at that left arm, holding the head. Now she's on the arms, making sure that they can't be used. That's why you're seeing Deanna try to go towards those short elbow strikes. Nice knee shield inside by Liz.
Liz has been working here this entire time to try to change position.
Which tells you how good Deanna is with her base and being able to control the position. Liz is doing a lot of good work. Deanna's able to stop all of it. And now she's getting herself out of position. Very nice work by Liz.
Anna Bennett said she showed Liz Carmouche too much respect in that first fight and almost gave away that first round, in which it was Liz putting on all the pressure, Liz Carmouche against the fence.
Short elbows on the inside.
Liz going back to the closed guard, just trying to crush the posture of Deanna Bennett, limit what she can do offensively. Use of the legs inside. See that foot into that hip junction area. That's not easy to deal with. Deanna doing a good job bringing her hips down heavy. You see those legs bent like that. That's her trying to keep herself from being elevated. But this is going to give Deanna a lot of confidence that she was able to keep Liz on her
entire round, yeah.
And this was very important as far as her keys towards working towards a victory. This is a big moment.
Remember in that first fight in the second round, and what's in the back of Deanna Bennett's mind is Liz Carmouche rolling out of a position like this into a heel hook. Liz has been hunting for a lot of different things.
Deanna's been able to stop all of them.
Yeah, she has.
It's a nice attempt right now. You're seeing a figure four by Liz. Really doing a nice job, and if there was more time, she might come out on the back.
Stop, easy up.
Wasn't able to do it.
Take a deep breath. How you feel? Got a little crazy there at the beginning of the round, no? Let's have a seat. Let's take a deep breath. How you feel? Okay. The punches were landing. Made a mistake. You're holding her on to you on the bottom. Right? And you just start moving her head around, start chopping those elbows, or throw up the sub. Your hook around the head is holding her on you. Punches are working. Control the middle, make her react to the punches.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. You know, a lot of it, and not all the time, but there was times I think she wanted to hold her under because she wanted to slow down the progression of what Deanna was able to do.
Round two. Round two, ladies. Round two. All right, here we go. Round two. Ready? Let's go to work.
Carmouche has won 5 straight, arguably each more impressive than the previous one, including the win 3 years ago over Deanna Bennett. It was funny, that early stoppage that got her the title in this building a year ago. I've always felt this, that the winner sometimes in the quote-unquote early stoppage almost gets shortchanged.
Absolutely.
Because it's not like they
didn't do anything wrong.
Pitbull and Michael Chandler. Maybe if that fight wasn't stopped early, probably. If that fight goes a little farther, maybe Pitbull wins in an even more dominant fashion, and nobody ever considers that. It just seems like a tainted victory when it's not.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. When you take a look at that victory, it was a year ago now for Liz. Yeah, it takes away from what, look, she did her job. Right. She did exactly what she was supposed to do, but just the way it occurs, it can kind of take away from it. So it puts a bad taste in your mouth for the fight.
Better shots from Liz Carmouche in that last exchange here early in round 2.
And if you're looking, Liz, as far as her hand, when she shoots out her jab, it's quick, and she follows it up with the right hand. She needs to rely on just believe in it. Made a mistake right
She
here.
did, and Bennett able to turn back towards the dominant position again.
Liz still has that arm, but she's lost that position.
The fight went to the ground in the first round in sort of an uncharacteristic, overly aggressive mistake by Liz. She tried to throw that wild.
Watch the back. There you go.
Wild kick, which you don't really see from her.
She's still holding on to that Kimura grip on the left arm of Deanna Bennett. And that can get her the reversal if she's able to utilize it. You're seeing Deanna bring that hand to the inside. See it against her hip line there. If she keeps it inside that, it's never going to be a problem for her. She's got control, even though both hands of Liz are on it. Nice work by Deanna Bennett.
This is good stuff.
Liz working herself back to her feet.
Wouldn't expect it. Liz Carmouche has made more mistakes here in the first 2 rounds than Deanna Bennett. Long way to go.
Nice low calf kick by Liz.
And it set that up. That shot doesn't land without the low calf kick first.
No, it doesn't. Very well done by Liz. Came in with almost a Superman type punch. Both connecting. Now she has Deanna in the defensive position against the cage.
And in a close round 2, that's a significant turn of events.
Yeah, she's getting on the single leg right now.
That's good. That's a tough ask.
But what the problem with Liz has got a Kimura grip on her right arm, and that's why they're kind of stuck in that position. Liz going to what we call 100% here. Trying to pull that arm away. But once again, Deanna Bennett coming out in the top position, which is crucial to her getting this win here tonight.
This is a really close round 2.
Stop, easy up.
Time to let off the gas, right? We're gonna finish here, okay? Breathe, calm.
Yourself away from the cage anytime she gets you there. Head not be on the bottom at the end of these rounds. All right, you've had good position against the cage, double under position there.
After the low calf kick came that.
And that right hand landing twice there. That was really nicely done. Deanna getting the takedown here as Carmouche was looking towards Kimura grip, went to that 100% position, but she gets takedown. Really nothing much was able to be done with it. Not enough time.
Was Liz Carmouche too fixated on that and giving up that takedown?
Well, yeah. You got to look at what Deanna was doing, and then you saw Liz going towards the Kimura grip, and you're basically saying, I'm going to give you the takedown because I can use this to reverse the position. And Deanna read it, knew what was going on, so basically stopped that takedown.
All right, here we go, ladies. Round 3. Ready? Let's go.
Even through 2?
I have it even through 2. I thought, both rounds you look, I thought Deanna Bennett definitely got the first round pretty easy. That was a close round. I thought that the heavier shots were landed by Liz. There wasn't a whole lot of damage done in any of the ground positions. I gave the second round to Liz Carmouche.
Deanna Bennett is a fascinating individual to spend time with.
One of the things that's really helping Deanna right now is take a look. She's got that little head movement, little side to side. Liz's head is right on the center line.
It is. Kind of what I was getting at is you think of her as sort of, you know, she's this happy-go-lucky kind of fun wild, but she's fighting the more disciplined fight here, which is the last thing you would expect if you knew these two people.
Yeah, I agree with you. Deanna's really using a lot of movement. Little movement of her head, side to side at times. That was a clean right hand landed by Liz. See, and right there, you saw Liz plant her feet. She needs to slide her feet towards her opponent to make sure that that shot lands.
This time, Liz Carmouche does not want to give up that takedown.
No, she doesn't.
Gave up a couple easy in the first two rounds.
Deanna Bennett's got her hands locked.
She does.
Very well done by Deanna Bennett.
Really good stuff.
Nice, systematically put herself in a position. You saw when she put her hand over towards the head. Liz knew she had to let go of what she had. Half guard position for Deanna Bennett.
As the drama builds and the challenger starts imposing her will, we remind you that she cannot win the title here tonight. She missed weight. If Deanna Bennett wins this fight, the title becomes vacant.
A lot of people aren't going to understand that Liz Carmouche has basically the ability to say, okay, well, it's not for the title, but she doesn't have a title defense. She wanted the title defense. That puts the title on the line. That means that, yes, she can lose it. Deanna can't win it.
Tomorrow, Conor Watanabe and Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, the top two contenders in the division, will face each other. Bennett trying to throw a monkey wrench into those plans.
Deanna Bennett really doing a fantastic job of technically putting her body in the right position, being heavy in base. You're seeing Liz use a lot of different techniques to try to move her out of the positions. She has not been able to do it once. Bennett really showing her grappling prowess.
And after 24 hours of criticism about the lack of discipline and missing weight, and rightly so, she has fought an unbelievably disciplined fight to this point.
Yes, she has. She's done everything she's supposed to do in a fight. She's utilized her striking to get into these clinch positions, get the takedowns. And when she's been in the top position, you see her working to do damage.
Deanna Bennett drove to Connecticut to watch the Liz Carmouche fight, the rematch with Juliana Velasquez. Watched as Liz Carmouche called out everybody but her. Tried to raise her hand, said, "I'm here, what about me?" And she's front and center right now.
A lot of people don't realize that Deanna started taking on really good fighters early in her career. She's got big wins against, champions like Juliana Pena, against Jennifer Maia. She's got big wins. She can fight. And she's just got better, especially since she's been here in Bellator. She's really improved everything about her game. Not only her striking, but her grappling has gotten better too.
She is winning this fight through 3 rounds.
Stop.
Bellator is back right here at the Blaisdell, our second of 2 events, and we've got an autograph session all set up for you. Come on back and meet the legend, Royce Gracie, and
Listen, you're winning the striking exchange. You stay in front of her too long. Let's get southpaw to the outside of the foot. You need to finish her.
It had a big knot come up, but it went away. So let me just watch it, and if I call
You
time.
cannot be on the ground. You cannot be on the ground. When you're on the ground,
Nice deep kick by Carmouche. That drives Bennett back. But one of the things you're seeing is when Bennett uses her hands, she comes in, tries to use her hands to get towards the takedown. That's been the difference of her being able to get in. She gets that lift, then uses good strikes. From the top position, those are all clean elbows and hammer fists. Just systematically doing what she needs to do to wear Liz Carmouche down.
Are you surprised how easily she's been able to take her down?
I'm really surprised that she's been as effective as she has with her strikes to get into Liz and to be able to those positions to be able to get her hands together. Liz, we know, is incredibly physically strong in the weight class, but she's been able to use good technique, as I said earlier, to get to those positions, get the lifts, and take her down.
Here we go, hustle up. Round 4.
In the first fight, Deanna Bennett tore her hamstring early in round 3, and Liz Carmouche had her beaten within seconds after that. Different story tonight.
All right, great job, ladies. Here we go.
I think you and I, John, certainly saw round 2 for Liz Carmouche, but that doesn't mean everybody did.
No, it could be that Deanna Bennett could be up 3 rounds there because she definitely won the first and the third round.
Good kick by Carmouche. Deanna Bennett off balance. What does Liz want to do?
Liz is looking towards a 10-finger guillotine choke, trying to drive her arms back into the throat while using her hips to push down on the head of Deanna Bennett. I don't think that she has her hands set in the right position, though.
She's giving up position again.
A lot of pressure on Deanna. You can see her through there.
Keeping her hips high.
But by keeping her hips high, it's relieving some of the pressure on her neck. Liz needs to keep that leg to the outside there. It's well done. Deanna back on the single leg. And in these positions, elbows are a big part of defending that takedown. You're seeing Liz, she keeps on going towards that Kimura grip. That elbow will keep Deanna from wanting to be in that position. Clean elbow strikes by Liz Carmouche right now. Deanna holding on to the single leg. You can hear the crack of that elbow against her skull.
Carmouche trying to type that left arm of Deanna Bennett here. That's a much better look at what's going on.
Well, she's also, basically she's in a topside crucifix almost here. She's got the left arm of Deanna between her legs, controlled. Got the right arm. See how she's got her arm inside of that so she can pull it out when she wants. Not a good position right now for Deanna Bennett. She can take a lot of damage here even though she's the top. That's a smart move of her trying to step over the leg.
But there's no room for her to step over.
No, the entire thing is that cage is keeping her stuck. Deanna's got the right idea of trying to come around to the backside of Liz. Head still down low. You're going to see Liz trying to work that Kimura, but she's lost it. She does not have her hand set up there.
Liz Carmouche knows she doesn't have it. Bennett up almost dragged her back into that spot.
Beautiful work by Deanna Bennett to try to work her way through it. Nice job of Liz controlling that position. She was almost too high. Sucked her hips back. Now she's on the back.
Suddenly in a mount position without much room to work.
Well, she's in an arm triangle position. She can make that work possibly.
Yeah, that's a much better look at her head on the side of the elbow of Deanna Bennett.
Yep. There she goes climbing. You see, she's trying to get that to the side. Now the problem is that cage can take away her ability. But Liz Carmouche, like I said earlier, so physically strong. She can put a lot of squeeze on here. Liz trying to control. Yeah, she's having
That's it. There was just too much time left in the round and nowhere for Deanna Bennett to go.
Arm triangle.
It was a tougher battle than many people thought it would be. Deanna Bennett controlled much of the first 3 rounds of this fight. But the cream rose to the top once Liz Carmouche got to the top.
Nice spot.
Yo, you're good. You're good. You're good. Right here in that arm triangle position, you see her take her legs, step over, trying to get herself to the side. Now, the fence kept her from getting exactly to where she wanted, but she utilized her shin and her knee on the belly to keep the hips down on Deanna Bennett, and she just used her strength and squeeze to get that completed. Fantastic job. She says, you're out.
I wasn't sure she was going to have enough room to squeeze in there to finish it off. But the world champion rises to the occasion. She didn't have to put her title on the line tonight. She did, and she will walk out again as champion. Michael C. Williams makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, in tonight's main event, the end comes officially at 4 minutes, 29 seconds into round number 4. The tap by way of an arm triangle choke by submission. She is still the Bellator Flyweight World Champion, Liz Gorilla Carmouche.
Congratulations to Deanna Bennett from the champion. Liz Carmouche wins her 6th straight, keeps rolling atop the division. She's with Big John.
I am lucky enough to be standing here next to the flyweight world champion, Liz Carmouche, defending that title once again. How does it feel?
It feels good. You know, definitely in those first few rounds, that not having to cut that extra weight and be at a champion level definitely showed, and she was able to use that. But I knew no matter what, she didn't have the gas tank. So even if I wasn't winning those ones, I was going to get it back.
You showed a great result because she was having her moments and she was doing a lot of good things when she got on top of you. But when you were able to get to that position and you knew that you had that arm triangle, your squeeze was tight.
No squeeze, like I teach everybody when I do the arm triangle. I don't squeeze it. I heard her gargling, I heard her gassing out, and you just had to take the right angle and just wait her out.
Now that you've had a second title defense, you're sitting on top. You had a fantastic come from behind because she was doing well, but you finished it off. Who should be the person that gets the next shot at you in that title?
You know, I'm going to take this time and enjoy the time with my family. It was back-to-back fight camps. I do my fight camps the months out on the East Coast. My family's on the West Coast. So I go away from my son and my wife. So I just want to spend some time, recalculate, talk to my management, and see what's next.
Anything you want to say to these people out here that are the troops that you belong to?
Yes, to all the troops, I want to say, Semper Fidelis. Marines, all of our service members, all of you that sacrifice your lives, your time, your sleep, thank you so much for what you do. We wouldn't be here today, we wouldn't have freedom, we wouldn't be able to enjoy these moments without everything that you do. And for those of you that are thinking about getting out and you're not sure if you can do it, I'm not anybody special. If I can do it, you can do it. Just take the step, believe in yourself, and follow your dream.
Congratulations on being the Bellator flyweight champion. Fantastic performance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Liz Gorilla Carmouche.
The heart of a soldier, the heart of a champion. A spectacular finish from Liz Carmouche. Guys, that was what champions do, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Look, she decided to grind it out until the very end. We wouldn't expect anything less from Liz Carmouche, though. Josh, look, Deanna Bennett very well might have been winning up until that point. Talk to us about what you saw from the champ. And still champ.
I had Deanna Bennett winning the fight at the moment, but then like Liz said, it was about the pressure, just staying relaxed, not letting the moment get to me, understanding that I could win this fight at any moment, and that's exactly what champs do. She dug deep, she understood what she needed to do in that 4th and 5th round, going into the 4th round or into the 5th round. She knew what she needed to do. Went out there, just did what she does best. Touched her with the hands, got the scramble, got to the top position. Nice finish.
An incredible main event tomorrow night, though. We have back-to-back nights here in Hawaii. Tomorrow night, it is the finale of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix between Rafion Stotts and Patchy Mix. We have been waiting for this one. Interim champ Rafion Stotts there. He has the belt right now. Josh, these two guys have everything to fight for. Notoriety, life-changing money, $1 million, a launching point to shoot their careers to another level. Out of all of these guys, you wanted to see these two guys in the final. Give me a reason each of them could win.
It's the style matchup, the reason why I want to see both these guys. You got Rafion Stotts against Danny Sabatello right here. It was the wrestling between the two of them, the scrambles, the ability of both of these guys to finish the fight in no time. But then Stotts, just with the touches, the sprawl, the brawl, the quickness with the feet and the hands, putting it together nicely. But then Patchy Mix is just a different level of a grappler all the way across the board. He is hands down the best grappler in the world at 135 pounds. And he poses threats everywhere because of his body style. He's tall, he's long, he's lanky, and he utilizes that all to his benefit when it comes to hitting the ground. And he's good on the feet. He's gotten a lot better on the feet since his loss to Juan Archuleta, and now he's in the finals for the Bantamweight World Grand Prix.
We talked to Patchy Mix when this whole thing started a year ago here. He felt he was being overlooked. We'll see if he can prove everyone wrong. I know you didn't think so, but some people did. He took it personally with some people out there. We'll see who gets the win tomorrow night. We cannot wait for that. We hope to see you then. Tonight's action was so nice, you'll want to watch it twice. Check your Showtime listings for encores. Then tomorrow night, Showtime Sports throws a 1-2 combination you cannot miss. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Showtime pay-per-view hosts a mega match between boxing's brightest stars and undefeated power punchers Gervonta Tank Davis and King Ryan Garcia. Then on Bellator MMA, it's a $1 million payday for either Rafion Super Stotts or Patchy No Love Mix. The final fight of the 8-man Bantamweight World Grand Prix is here, and it starts at 11 Eastern, 9 Pacific, live on Showtime. Don't go anywhere. Showtime's new drama starring Michael Shannon and John Leguizamo, Waco, The Aftermath, gets a bonus play next. Congratulations to and still women's flyweight champ Liz Carmouche, walking out with a big smile on her face and the belt around her waist. Tonight, completely dedicated to the troops. Liz Carmouche, a former Marine, and take a look at this house band. We've had the pleasure of enjoying all night, all members of the military. They have served more than 50 years combined. It was a spectacular night here at Bellator 294. We begin with the welterweights, Le'Veon Chokley versus Michael Lombardo, both outside the top 10, both wanting in. Chokley gets the win there. The heat between Danny Sabatello and Marcus Breno started even before the fight. It was a back and forth battle. Breno avoiding the takedowns, but Sabatello finally getting the one he needed, forcing Breno to tap. Then a female power took center stage, and what power did these featherweights have? Number 2 ranked Arlene Blanco going up against Bellator newcomer Sarah McMahon. Sarah McMahon making her mark in that division. The co-main event, the heat between heavyweights, Tim Johnson, a member of the Army National Guard, versus his friend Syed Soma. The cage is all business. They battled it out. They hugged at the end. Tim Johnson gets his hand raised. In our main event, the Women's Flyweight World Championship, the champ Liz Carmouche versus Deanna Bennett, wanting to make Deanna Bennett pay for missing weight. Deanna Bennett may have been winning, but Liz Carmouche with the win, getting Bennett to tap out. She is still our flyweight champ.